And we are live on another Wednesday evening, early October 2021. We still got the undefeated Mr. Siciliano and his Alabama Crimson Tide after a
Sir. Yes, sir. Yep.
unbelievable performance. We'll get into that later. Mr. Siciliano, Coach Siciliano, just plain sis. What's going on?
Not much. Hanging in.
All right. And there he is, Mr. Kirkpatrick, with the glasses on tonight. He looks studious. He just came off of a nice fantasy show with our good friends at the Rocky Mountain Sports Report. Mr. Kirkpatrick, after your first victory this week, you had a big victory Sunday, but a terrible defeat last night. And we'll get into that in a little bit. How are you tonight?
Hot and cold.
Hot and cold.
Hot and cold. I'm hot with the Giants. I'm cold with the Yankees. We're gonna get into both of them this evening. So,
All right.
but that's my way of putting it. Hot and cold, my friend.
All
Hot and
right.
cold.
All right. So I hope everyone's good. Another day getting by, right? Early October. But what's awesome is we got playoff baseball again tonight. NFL Week 5. College football, I believe it's Week 6. NBA preseason. A little hockey. So we got a lot to talk about. But before we talk, I want to thank a couple people. Our interns, Olivia, doing a great job. She got our stuff is the all-in stuff, and she's going to be working on K&K next week. Give a shout out to Olivia because all our stuff now is back on our podcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, the Apple Podcasts. I also want to give a shout out to Daniel. Daniel has done an amazing job with our Twitter. I know, Kenny, you're going to be working with Daniel, getting some more Facebook posts, but he's been awesome on the Twitter side of K&K, so please follow us if you haven't. He's been putting a couple things up here and there. And, of course, our other intern, Rachel, who's been doing a phenomenal job with the photos and, getting us like our special guest, and every week our K&K stuff. She's working on something where she's not done yet, but you two guys are going to love it. It's a secret. I got a little surprise for you two and Carson. That should be coming soon, so you guys will like that. And she's doing some other stuff with some sponsorships behind the scenes. Leading up, Kenny, I want to thank our sponsors, DMK Apparel with Coach Breslin, Gym Guys with Leroy and Jessica, Kimber's Tots, of course, Smoky Beards, our good friend Rob Neely. And Kenny, I know you have another one we're going to start getting ahead of. You want to speak to a little bit about now?
Yeah, one of my coworkers, good friends at work, has a little side company called Itch Be Gone. It gets rid of your mosquito bites, sunburn, all natural vinegar-based product. It's great stuff. I use it on my mosquito bites when the mosquitoes are bad. Any kind of burn or bug bites, it's great on. And I do want to send a plug out to our good friend Dave Slade over at Rocky Mountain and his Willow Seasonings, his rubs.
Of course.
Definitely going to be getting his advertising his product a little bit on our show.
Yeah, those rubs are unbelievable on chicken.
I definitely want to plug him out and our friends over there at Colorado, Willow Seasonings.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. I'm looking forward to a great show. I want to start right out of the gate because I got 12 quick hitters tonight for you and Sis. I know we want to start this up. This gets the show going. So I'm going to start with Kenny. I'll alternate with everyone. I'm going to start this with Kenny. Real quick answers. Again, it's yes or no or one-word answers. But here we go. Kenny, did Garrett Cole choke last night?
100% yes.
Sis, did Garrett Cole choke last night?
Yeah, I don't know if he choked or he just had a bad night.
Okay, so yes or no? Well, how would you answer that?
You'd have to say yes. He gave up 3 homers and 50 pitches.
Okay. Second question, I'm going to come right back to you, Sis. If you were if you were the Yankees and you could get out of the remaining 7 years of that deal, would you get out of that deal right now?
Absolutely.
Kenny.
I agree with Sis, yes.
Okay. Kenny, should the Mets have fired Luis Rojas as their manager?
Absolutely, yes.
Sis, should the Mets have fired Luis Rojas as their manager?
I kind of like the guy. No, I'll say no.
All right. Sis, give me one name. You can say Aaron Boone. Give me one name right now. If you had to decide, who do you want as the manager of your Yankees next year?
Bucky.
Kenny.
Talked to Sis earlier about this. Buck Showalter. Bring the old school back like Tony La Russa is working in Chicago. Bring the old school guys back.
Okay. Paul Mulvaney joining, saying Showalter. By the way, Kenny, he wants us to get a Yankee review and a little Yankee off-season preview show, so we got to get that in the works. Okay?
We'll work with that for sure. That'd be nice to show me, you, Sis, and Paul for sure.
Absolutely. All right, Sis, listen. Can you guys make me and Paul happy on this one? Kenny, will Zion Williamson ever play for the New York Knicks?
I think so. I think yes.
Kenny, Sis.
You mean ever in his career?
Ever in his career will he be a New York Knick?
For your sake, yeah, I hope so.
Okay. Kenny, Justin Fields was named the Chicago Bears starting quarterback for the rest of the season today. Was that the correct move?
For us Giant fans, yes. For the Bears, no.
Sis.
And, they named him the starting quarterback. By the second, third quarter Sunday, he could be knocked out. So, I wouldn't have named anybody the starter for the rest of the season. For Sunday, yeah.
Okay. Sis. By the way, Paul's saying work some magic on the Zion. Sis, do you see again, Jimmy Garoppolo again injured with the San Francisco 49ers? My question is, do you see Trey Lance taking over for Jimmy Garoppolo soon? And if he does, is it for good? And Garoppolo will never be the starting quarterback again, Kenny.
Yeah, definitely. Put the kid in, let him get some experience, move on. He's your future. So why you shadow boxing? Get him in, get it over with.
Kenny, good point, Sis.
Great point by Sis. The only thing I disagree with is San Francisco's a Super Bowl contender as to the other rookie quarterbacks being on pretty much teams that are rebuilding. So I don't know. That's the only thing I would disagree on. That's a great point that Sis brought up that I didn't think about before that question. But that's the only thing I would say is they're Super Bowl contenders. So if they lose the next 2 games, let's say, they might see Garoppolo back in there because they are supposedly a Super Bowl contender. I never liked them this year.
Okay.
Just off the record.
All right. Johnny Beelan, fellas, going to be a good second half tonight, LOL. By the way, did you guys see the picture of Sis in a Georgia Bulldogs jersey? Where is this picture?
Where's this picture?
Oh my God! All right, here's my next one though. Getting into that,
he never stops.
You know what? I want Beelan, Paul, anyone who's watching, please. We're gonna ask this question throughout the night. This is a quick hitter. Okay. Today, I received a message on Facebook that our own Mr. Sis said he got hacked on Facebook. So, give me one person. Who do you think hacked them, Kenny? Who's the one person that would hack Sis?
Mr. Beelan over there talking some Georgia smack is on top of my list.
Sis, before I get your opinion on it, I'm going to go with the person from the Jersey Gardens that you said, who the hell asked you? She got back to you. She's got back to you a couple of years later.
Yeah, that's not the words I use. I know you can't use them.
Who do you? Eddie Murphy saying Zuckerberg is the one that hacks this.
I think I agree with him. I think it was Zuckerberg. He knows I got a big following on Facebook. He's a little jealous.
Beelan saying getting a smile out of Sis makes my day. All right, the next one.
Actually, I'm going to change my mind to Lane Kiffin because he got tired here.
That's a good one.
Good one.
That's a good one, Kenny.
All right. Kenny, is Notre Dame now out of the college football playoff picture?
I believe so, yes.
Sis.
I'm going to agree with Kenny, but you both know, the way these social media is, that they'll be looking to get him in somewhere, but I don't think they can. I don't.
Okay, I agree with you guys. Coach O from John Beelan saying, yes, out like Clemson. We're going to get into that later. Coach O was the darling 2 years ago. His post-game speech, his Go Tigers, he went undefeated, yada, yada, national title 2 years ago. My Auburn Tigers, great game. Bo Nix went in there Saturday night, beat LSU at home. I believe now it's their second loss this year. Kenny, should Coach O be on the hot seat already in LSU?
I think so. I think we're gonna hopefully he could join us next week. Our good friend Dave Slade's a big LSU guy. We should save that question for him. But I think he should be. He's got all that talent down there in LSU, and you can't lose that game to Auburn. That's a game that's got to be circled on your list every other year at home that you win. And they blew it.
Sis, what about you? Coach O, should he be on the hot seat at LSU?
He is now for two things. For the way they lost 2 games already to UCLA and you guys, and now I understand there was a woman, I guess, with pants on in the locker room doing interviews, and he said all women should be in dresses. So you can't be doing that, man.
No,
look at
Urban
Meyer, man.
Oh yeah,
Urban Meyer, he's an idiot.
Yep,
he's an idiot.
Yep. And 2 more, sis. I'll come back to you, sis. Will we see Georgia versus Alabama in the SEC championship, and then again Georgia versus Alabama in the national championship?
I tell you what, and you know me, I never bet on Bama. I would take out a loan. That's exactly what's going to happen. That Bama, Georgia, they're the best 2 teams. Nothing against you Auburn Tigers, but that's going to be the regular game and then the national championship game. I'll say that tonight on the show. Definitely.
Kenny, you agree? Sis, I'm with you. I think it is. No other teams are going to play with them. What do you think, Kenny?
I got to agree with this. And you know me, I'm not the chalk player, but you got to go with the chalk here. Bama, Georgia has got to be the championship in the SEC.
Okay, and then the last one, again, I definitely want Mr. Beelan's opinion on this. I want Mr. Murphy, Paul, if you're watching. Sis, I'm going to start with you. Beelan right. Saying the Bulldogs are going to be the Bulldogs are going to beat Bama so bad that Bama doesn't want to play the Bulldogs again.
Is that Beelan talking again?
That's Beelan. Says
same thing last year. Ohio State was going to whip us. He's going to go for 2. He's making himself look bad on the show. But anyway, go ahead.
Here we go. Last one, sis. Sis, give me Kenny Kirkpatrick's, if he was to run it, give me Kenny Kirkpatrick's 40 time.
Right now or when he was a kid?
Right now.
I would say Kenny could probably run 4.4, 4.5 right now.
4.5.
Yeah, he's pretty quick.
Kenny, what do you think?
I appreciate that, sis, but the weight I gained since the pandemic, we're going more in the 5.5, 6 range.
I would say more like 6'2", Kenny, to be honest.
Well, Beelan just threw his number out. Eddie Murphy said 10 seconds flat, and John Beelan said 7.4.
Yeah, I would go more in the 6.5, 7 range.
All right,
tell Beelan I can beat him now at my age running backwards in the 4.
Beelan, listen.
He can run. What?
Paul saying, but is he faster than Bella? That would be a good match.
That would be a good one as well.
That would be a good one. I will say this, Kenny. I will say this, sis. Beelan was quick, man. When we had him in Little League and all that.
Yeah,
he was fast, man.
And all joking aside, all joking aside, you told me he was a hell of an athlete.
He was.
Yep.
All right, so Kenny,
I wasn't full of speed, but what I didn't have in speed, I gained in my size.
There you go.
There you go.
Joe Valenti, Mr. Valenti's father over there, taught me the sky hook.
That's
all
it.
I'm gonna say.
And then the rest is history. We ran the 0-2, Kenny. We ran the table, baby.
That's
There you
it.
go.
That's
All
it.
right. So, Mr. Kirkpatrick, I am
Yeah,
done.
we're gonna change things up a little bit this week. We're gonna start the show with Major League Baseball. It's playoff time. I think it's only right we get baseball recognized. The playoffs are starting, and then roughly 8:45, we're going to bring in Paul for some Giants talk, and then second hour we got Bronco Mania, Sis's Mind, some college football, and some more NFL talk in the second hour.
All right.
So let's start. Paul's out there. Paul Mulvaney's listening out there. Sis, me and you are Yankee fans. Let's start real quick with our thoughts on the Yankees. The season ended yesterday against the Red Sox. Kurt asked a quick hitter, Cole, what did you see in that game that you didn't like? And is there anything promising for next year that you did see and liked in these last couple weeks of the season?
You start with me?
I'll start with you.
Well, and just like I think you saw it too. When it was 3-2, Judge gets the hit, Stanton hits the wall. Again, you don't like to be an armchair quarterback or whatever, and I'm not that, but you're down 2 runs. Judge is not Ricky Henderson. So now instead of having second and third one out, you send the kid to the plate, he gets thrown out by 9 feet. I knew right then and there, to be honest with you, is that the game was over right there. That just broke. You could see even Stanton on second base. He basically had that look on his face like, Coach, like, what are you doing? We're down 2 runs. They need a wholesale shakeup. They need to get rid of a few players. I'm hoping they bring Gardy back, but I don't see it. I'd like to see Sanchez get traded. Nothing against him personally. I think the other kid can fill in that at catching. And Gleyber Torres needs to go. And, that's just my opinion. Mm-hmm.
I agree. Kurt, you want to read comments before I put my 2 cents in?
Yeah, a couple comments. Eddie Murphy, if I was Cole, I wouldn't even show up in the Bronx next year after he crapped the bed. Paul saying shouldn't have sent Judge. Beelan saying got to give it to Judge with a pretty good slide though. Paul saying that play killed the momentum. I agree with Paul.
Absolutely.
I think that was it. Yeah. I think that was it.
I want to add my 2 cents. For anyone who says home field advantage does not matter in baseball, or any other sport, is fooling themselves. Any other park in Major League Baseball, Stanton has a 2 home run game, and we're looking at a different ball game. Those balls were 3 to 6 feet away from being a home run, and those balls would have traveled over 400 feet. So that being said, I'm looking ahead. We're going to do a preview show with Paul, an off-season show. One guy that the Yankees need to bring back, and the guy deserves to be back, Nestor Cortez, unsung hero, last few weeks of the season. Another guy they need to bring back, in my opinion, is Rizzo. Rizzo's perfect for Yankee Stadium, lefty. And Nestor Cortez, you want to bring him in as a 4th or 5th starter. The guy did nothing short of he did so much, for what they given the guy. He showed up, signed the guy next year. Those are 2 guys I want on the Yankees next year. Like Sis said, one guy I want on is Sanchez. Nothing against the guy. I just don't like the fit. And, keep Torres at second base. That's the moves we got to do next year. But like Eddie Murphy said, I think, Cole, you're paying him that money. You need to show up. If it's a 1-0 game, you're the guy, $300 million. You can't be giving up 2 home runs in the first 3 innings. Sorry. You're the guy. You put the team in a hole, and that's why we lost yesterday. Hands down, Cole is the one to blame, in my opinion.
A couple comments. Paul saying Green Monster Rob Stanton. Paul saying new game pin the tail on the Gallo. Oh, was he bad? And Beelan, you know what? I give Beelan credit for this for 2 years. Sanchez should have been gone 2 years ago. Anybody can hit home runs and strike out and not play defense. And he is 1,000%. Sis has been all over it. Eddie Murphy, Guardy as a backup. They need to get rid of Hicks, find a healthy center fielder, and I think Torres will have a better year at second. You know, I'll just say this, and I know we're going to talk into getting more detail with Paul, and Sis probably has some stuff too of, in his what's on Sis's mind, but I agree with, Cole cannot do that. And the fact that, me and Sis were texting a little today, the fact that Sis said, what was it, 50 pitches, Sis? Like,
he threw 50 pitches.
I'm
and gave
sorry.
Up 3
like,
home runs.
You better suck that up, and you better say, I'm getting you to the 5th or 6th. I know he said, oh, I got nothing, I'm done. You can't do that when you have that contract. You just can't do it. He failed him.
And it makes me wonder about the guy. I know I was at your house a couple years ago, Kurt. Astros Yankees, the game Verlander. Greinke pitched. Cole never even came into that game. Is he not a big game player?
Well, I'll say this, and again, me and Sis also talked about this. They were talking today with Kay and everything, how early in the season his stats were, Cy Young-like. But after Sis said today, the sticky stuff went away.
Absolutely. That was it.
He went downhill. And I still say this. I didn't know anything with the Astros. I don't believe it. He was involved. He knew what they were doing and what he was doing. It looks now that he was doing some funny stuff because once they started with the cap and all that sticky stuff this year, gone. So it's gonna and now the discussion's over. Nobody can say, is it Cole or is it DeGrom? It's case closed, done deal. Jacob DeGrom is 20 times a better pitcher than Garrett Cole. It's
no
done. No doubt about it. It's over.
No doubt.
Next thing, though, Kenny, what you're talking about, somebody just said it before, there has to be massive changes. And I mean massive changes from the philosophy, theory. I'll tell you this, the person I tip my cap to is Giancarlo Stanton because he carried that Yankee team, not just last night.
You know what?
The last 2 weeks, Kenny, that guy carried that Yankee team. And you know what? There's your home run hitter, and there's your best player going forward. It's Giancarlo Stanton.
He stepped up. Keep him healthy. I was wrong about him. When he's healthy, he's still got it.
But you know what? It's just the philosophy of home. You knew last night when it was 3-0, 3-1, and now you're like, listen, you're going to have to hit 3 home runs or a 3-run homer to get back in the game. They don't generate runs. It's just, It does not work in the postseason. They have no pitching. I mean, they're talking about on the show, well, if they get to Tampa Bay, who's going to pitch game 1? Like, they don't even know who's going to pitch. You don't even have a second starter. The pitching's a mess, and you know what? It's the Yankees got to stop with the puppet stuff with Boone.
I want to set that up with you and Sis and Paul, and we're gonna we'll do an hour Yankee show on the off season stuff.
Let me just get to the comments, Kenny, real quick because they're coming in. Eddie's saying would have had a better shot starting Cortez in all honesty. Paul saying Cole, crappy numbers at Fenway too. Eddie, does Boone get fired since he became the manager? Since he became the manager, the team has gone backwards. Murphy saying Stanton started hitting once he started playing the outfield. That's another joke. All of a sudden now he could play the outfield. From day one he should have done it. And he's next year, you're the outfielder. No more DH. No more DH. And Beelan, I agree with Beelan 1,000% on this. The massive overhaul of change for the company or the team, just start with Cashman. He needs to go first. Absolutely.
And
time is over.
Answer Eddie's question. We did it on quick hitters. Kurt, Sis and I both think Buck Showalter and Paul, we're all calling for Buck to come back. Buck Showalter. Bring the old school guys back. It's working in Chicago with the White Sox.
Well, here's the thing, though, Kenny. Here's the thing, because they talked about it today. You and Sis want Showalter, right? I agree with you too. But here's the thing, because they said it flat out. Cashman will not. If Cashman stays, he's getting another puppet. He will not hire a guy and say, you're the manager. It's either he stays with the puppet or he goes and you bring in the real manager. So that's why he's going to go.
And that's the problem. And that's
exactly what has to happen.
That's exactly, sis. Exactly.
If
I'll end my
Cashman
Yankee
stays,
talk
another
on this.
puppet's coming in.
Yep. And I think Sis will agree with me on this. We talked about this yesterday. And I'll end my Yankee talk on this if Sis wants to add anything, or Paul, anybody else. If the old man, Mr. Steinbrenner, was still alive, Cashman would have been gone a couple of years ago.
No
It would have
doubt.
been an overhaul like John just called for.
No
I don't
doubt.
think the son has it or even cares about the team as much as the old man did.
Nope.
And that's why Cashman's there. Hal Steinbrenner, Cashman, you run the team the way you want it. I just collect my money. That's how I feel the ownership is with the Yankees right now.
That's it in a nutshell.
And until Cashman's ready to retire, I think he's going to be there.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
It is a problem.
I'll
get into the other games, Kurt. I want to get into the playoffs real quick.
Okay, real quick. I'm sorry. Let's 3 more comments. He's saying now, Beelan saying Padres fired their manager, so that job is now open. Eddie Murphy saying fire Cashman, hired Theo and Buck Showalter. Paul saying I think Hal loves Cashman, could be a problem. And Paul's also saying Big Steinbrenner, Mr. S, would have fired Boone today in caps.
And Cashman.
So
let's get into some of the games. We got one game going tonight. I want to get through a couple of these games quick because we got Paul in about 15 minutes.
Okay, just an update. St. Louis is up 1-0, bottom of the first.
That's the game I wanted to touch on first. So we got the game tonight. I'll start with Kurt. We got the Cardinals facing the Dodgers in a play-in game to face the Giants, Kurt. You just gave us the update. Who wins this game tonight? And what do you see going forward in the series against the Giants? And who comes out on top in the Giants? Giants versus
I'll tell you this.
Cardinals?
I think the Dodgers I think the Cardinals right now are the one team in that National League I would not want to play in a one-game playoff. Wainwright has experience. That team has experience. They always win big games. So I would be afraid of tonight. I'm still going to pick the Dodgers because that's my World Series champs. But I also think whoever wins tonight beats the Giants. But I'm going to go with the Dodgers tonight.
I'm with Kurt. And the sad thing about this game with them tonight, they won 106 games, and they got to be in a one-game playoff game.
I agree with
you. That's terrible. That's terrible. I'm sorry. That I don't like at all. Not at all. So I'm going with the Dodgers.
Yeah, I'm with you, sis. I'm going to go Cardinals only because of how hot they've been, and this was my sleeper team at the beginning of the year, so I'm going to go with them now. I think the Giants having a magical season. I think because of this play-in game and the advantage the Giants are going to have with the rest and having their pitchers rested, Dodgers and Cardinals are going to have to use anybody and anyone to win this game today. That's going to be a disadvantage against the team that's won as many games as the Giants have. So I'm going to take the Cardinals tonight and the Giants in the series. I'll start it off. I'm going to have the Giants beating the Cardinals in 6 because of the way tonight's game is going to go with a lot of people getting put in the game. Sis, who do you have in the Giants versus the Dodgers, in your opinion, or if it's the Cardinals, if they pull out the win?
If the Dodgers do win tonight, the Dodgers, as hot as the Giants have been playing, I think the Dodgers have their number. I think they'll beat them. I see the Dodgers in the World Series, though. Yep.
Gotcha. And Kurt?
Yeah, I'm with Sis. I'm going to pick either team. By the way, Eddie Murphy's getting fired up with Beelan, saying, you should have just made the Dodgers the NL East champs. That division is a crapshoot. So basically, he's not respecting Beelan's Braves. But I'm going to go with Sis. I'm going to pick the Braves. I'm going to pick the Braves. I'm going to pick the Dodgers. I'm going to take the Dodgers over the Giants. If it is the Cardinals, I'm still going to pick the Cardinals over the Giants. I'm just not a believer in the Giants. I think both of these teams have the experience. And but I would still go on with Sis. I'm going to go Dodgers over Giants.
Fair enough. Let's move on to the other National League series, Braves and Brewers. I'm going to go real quick. I'm going to say Beelan's Braves, because of their playoff experience. I think even though they don't have Acuna, I think this is going to go 7. Braves are going to take it in 7.
All right.
Kurt.
By the way, Eddie's saying he thinks the Giants win over either team. All right, I'll start this one. This is tough for me. But I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with you. I think the Braves. I know that injuries, Acuna out. But I am gonna take Eddie Murphy. By the way, is saying Braves will beat the Brewers. I'm gonna go with Beelan's boys. I'm gonna take the Braves over the Brewers too. I think a long series goes the distance, but I'm gonna take the Braves. Sis, what about you?
Yeah, off the experience, I'm going with Beelan's boys. I'm going with the Braves. Yep.
Milwaukee again. Milwaukee's got the good. I know they got the good bullpen with the setup and the closer. It's phenomenal. They do have a couple bats, but I just think Atlanta. That lineup still, even without Acuna, it's a dangerous lineup. You still got the pitchers who pitched a little. Got some postseason play last year. I don't look at it like they're in a weaker division. But I don't go by that. I just think
right.
I think the Braves honestly are the better team, and
Right.
I think Atlanta's going to come out. Let's get to the American League a little bit. Kenny just had to step away. He's saying he lost. Kenny will be right back. Let's go with the Astros and the White Sox. Sis. Big. The White Sox again, younger talent. Tony La Russa in the beginning, no one said, a lot of people were saying, he's too old. He's not going to be able to manage this team. And the White Sox are rolling, win the division with ease. And now they got to play the Astros. Astros, again, they're cheaters. They're never going to win, yada, yada. Came right back. Another division crown ready to go. Astros, White Sox, sis, who do you like?
I want to see the White Sox because of what you just said. The Astros are cheaters. That little midget, he's a cheater. And I hope the White Sox bury them.
But do you hope or do you believe both of them? Or you?
No, I believe I really believe the White Sox are the better team.
Okay, I just disagree a little bit. Again, I think experience there. Listen, the White Sox are phenomenal, but
Yep.
you know what? It's kind of like a last dance with them too. Correa, Springer was gone, but Altuve. I listen. Did they cheat? Of course they cheated. Nobody's, you can't look at the thing and no one's banging garbage cans without cheating for no reason. It just doesn't happen. But
And wearing wires.
right, wearing wires. But this year, they didn't do that. So if they're not going to do it and they're back to where they are, I give them a lot of credit. I am going to disagree with you respectfully,
Right.
but I am going to take the
Fine.
Astros to beat the White Sox. Eddie's
I know
saying,
where Kenny's going, but go ahead.
Eddie's saying Astros will win. They still have a good team, cheaters or not, but he wants the White Sox, but Eddie's saying Astros. Kenny.
Yeah, on Astros White Sox, Kurt?
Yeah.
My take on it is, I just said it, the old school guy, La Russa, bringing that old school vibe back to Chicago. I think they're going to, like Sis said, I think the White Sox, I like that back of the end rotation with Kimbrel back there. They added Kimbrel at the trade deadline. I think the White Sox bullpen wins this, and I got the White Sox taking it in another exciting 7-game series, Kurt.
All right, Beelan's calling his shot. He's saying Astros versus Braves.
We got one more in the American League. The Tampa Bay Rays, every year they find a way, no matter how small their payroll is, no matter how many names I don't think I can name 5 guys on the Rays, but they still find a way to win 100 games every year. They got the Red Sox. And let's start with Sis. What's your thoughts on this series, Sis, and who are you going with?
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say 60-40 the Devil Rays, but don't count the Red Sox out. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to go with Sis because I'm going to agree with him 98%. 60-40, I agree. Don't count the Red Sox out because of that home field advantage. We saw it.
Yep.
We saw that home field advantage, what it can do. But if the Rays stick to their guns and play the small ball and mix and match, this team can be very dangerous. If they get by the Red Sox, and it's a big if, they're going to the World Series again, Rays, in my opinion.
Beelan is
Like
saying,
I said, like I said, our choices have been changing every week. We're going to have our World Series predictions in a second, but that's my take on it.
real quick, Beelan saying Rays will win in 5. Paul saying go Tampa. They're boring on paper, but they make it happen. I agree with Paul. I think Boston's going to give Tampa a little more struggle than the Yankees, but the Yankees are just Tampa's just a bad matchup for the Yankees. So, but I still think they win. And, listen, I think in the AL, I think it's going to be Tampa and Houston. And I think Houston, I think Tampa, how can I explain? Okay. If Houston gets by Chicago, I think Houston goes to the World Series. Otherwise, if the Chicago wins, I think Tampa Bay is going to beat them, and Tampa Bay is going to get to the World Series. So
let's do our updated World Series predictions. I'll go first, and then I'll go Sis, and we'll end with Kurt. My updated World Series predictions are going to be in the AFC, in the American League Championship Series. I'm going to have the White Sox facing the Rays. And I'm going to have the White Sox and Tony La Russa getting there. And in the National League, I'm going to have the Giants facing the Braves, Beelan's Braves. And Beelan's Braves, I hope I'm wrong for Beelan, but I think the Braves fall just short because this is a magical year for the Giants. I'm going to have the White Sox versus the Giants, and the Giants win it all. Sis.
All right, what do you got again? I'm sorry. You have to run it by me.
Okay, I got your World Series. Let's go your American League Championship Series, your champion, and then your World Series champion in the American and National.
White Sox against the Devil Rays. Devil Rays beat them. Then we go over to the National League. And the Dodgers beat the Giants if they get by the Cardinals. And I agree with Kurt. If they don't, I'll still take I'll still take the Cardinals beating the Giants. So whatever happens there, they'll play the Devil Rays in the World Series.
And your champion?
The world champion will be, I'm going to say the Dodgers. I'm going to stick with the Dodgers. If it all pans out.
And if the Dodgers don't get there, you're going with the Cardinals?
Then I'll go with the Cardinals.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Kurt.
Yep.
This is on the money because I agree. I'm going to take in the AL, I'm going to go Astros over the Rays. In the NL, I'm going to stick with Sis and say Dodgers over the Beelan's Braves, even though they're down 1-0 now. But again, I totally agree with Sis. If the Cardinals win tonight, I'm going to take the Cardinals over the Braves. And then that switches it a little. But right now, my World Series is going to be Dodgers, Astros, and the Dodgers beat the Astros.
Tell Beelan it's okay. He can keep texting me to ask me for winners. I have no problem giving him winners. I meant to say that. Yeah.
I'm going to bring Paul in a couple minutes early, but my last question would be, what series are you looking forward to watching the most? Rays, Red Sox, Astros, White Sox, Braves, Brewers, or Giants versus Dodgers or Cardinals?
Oh, mine would be just Dodgers, Giants. I mean, they had a battle for the division. Now you're going to play that in a 7-game series. That would just be phenomenal. Phenomenal.
I want to see the Astros White Sox because I haven't seen much of the White Sox this year, and they got a nice little young team over there. I want to see Moncada, Robert, Luis Robert, whoever you want to say his name. I want to see those young guys over there. So that would be a series I would look forward to. How about it, Sis?
Real quick. Oh, I'm sorry, Sis. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say a little breaking news today. Abreu for the White Sox was sick, not COVID, supposedly not COVID related. He is still questionable for tomorrow whether he's going to make the trip or not. So just something to look forward to. Look forward is Abreu's availability tomorrow, game 1.
Kenny, to answer your question, anybody but the Astros. I don't want to see them nowhere near the field.
Fair enough.
Sis,
Facebook?
wait, we got one more comment from Sis from Beelan. When the Georgia Bulldogs beat Bama, I'm going to send Sis a truckload of tissues. LOL.
Tell Beelan I'll come up to his house. I'll cut his grass with a scissors if that happens.
By the way, Beelan lost the bet because he didn't. Even though my Broncos lost, they didn't put up 35. They didn't, right, Sis. So we're not mowing anything.
We'll have fun with Beelan
not mowing. I'll cut it with a scissors if that happens.
We'll have fun with Beelan in a little bit, but right now it's time for me to bring in our good friend Mr. Paul Rosen, because Sis, myself, and Mr. Rosen are about to have a little victory celebration with our Giants. You ready, Sis?
Let's roll.
Victory celebration with our Giants. There he is. Ready, Sis?
There he is.
What's going on, Mr. Paul?
Mr. Straight.
He got that big smile on his face. God bless him. Yep.
How are you guys?
Good.
Doing great, Paul. How are we doing over there tonight?
Nothing much. How are you guys?
We're good. You're smiling this week, Paul. You look a little happier.
Well, joke aside, guys, I've been talking to Paul. I want to first ask you how your mom's doing. You said that she had hip surgery. Please, let us know how she's doing before we start.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Kenny. She's doing fantastically. We saw her this afternoon. 86 years old, God bless. And
awesome.
Amazing. She's actually going to be discharged tomorrow. She's going to spend some time with my sister. Hopefully she'll wind up going back down to our house in Tom's River, but we'll see. It's one day at a time, but her progress has been amazing. She's walking, of course, with the walker at this point, but I'm almost shocked how well she's progressed. So
excellent.
Speedy recovery, Mr. Rosen.
Excellent news.
Awesome news. Prayers obviously from all of us.
Yep. Excellent news.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yep.
So I have a question. My first question to you guys: who had the Giants-Jets 2-team parlay of 2 wins in overtime this weekend?
Did you see what somebody put today on Twitter, or a couple days ago? It said, for $100, I want to say you would have won something like $2,000 or $2,100 if you took the Giants and the Jets to win outright.
Really?
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Let me just say this: the weekend that the Lions lost on that 66-yard field goal,
Right.
there was someone who won every game. The only game he didn't win was the Lion game because of the field goal.
Oh. Wow.
He would have won $725,000.
Wow.
That's a curse.
That's a killer, man.
Only the Lions.
Anyway.
Only the Lions.
Yeah, right, exactly. Anyway,
You got Paul's notes for the week. Do you want to run it again like you did last week?
I'm gonna run it because you guys are. I want you
we
guys.
had fun last week by the way you did it with us.
Guys, you know what? You guys bask in the glory. It's your win, so I will run it. So you guys can.
How are you feeling after your first loss? Well, we're gonna have Bronco Mania
We'll get
next,
that later, but not good. We'll get into that. I know Beelan will get
it's
into
happy
it.
time right now. Benton will be in about 20 minutes. We'll vent.
I'm gonna be calm now. So I'm gonna take this directly from Paul's in Paul's words. Right? Who dat? Who'd have thunk it? Nobody gave the Giants a chance. They go to New Orleans and win a thrilling 27-21 overtime game. Their first win in New Orleans, Kenny, since we graduated high school in 1993.
Yep.
That's a long time ago. So
Yeah, I was shocked when I read those notes, Paul. It's like, wow, that's a long time. In a tough place to win. So.
Yep. Eddie Murphy saying down by 11 in the fourth. All right, so I'm going to do this quick hitter style. Of course, I'm going to start with Paul. I'm going to go Paul, Sis, Kenny. 2-part question number 1, Paul. Based on these last 4 or the opening 4 games of this season. 2-part question. Is Daniel Jones the Giants quarterback now? And is he the quarterback of the future?
I'm going to say absolutely. I think he's proven in these 4 games that he has what it takes. And I'm going to tell you 2 reasons quickly. The last drive to tie the game in sending it to overtime, and then the overtime drive. He took control of those 2 drives, brought them down, got the field goal kick, and then when they won that toss, and we won't get into the specifics of the language of Jabril Peppers, but they got the ball, and not only did he bring them down, he got them to score the touchdown to win the game. And I think this is a kind of game that every Giants fan has been looking to have him as a leader of this team. So in my mind, yes. And just to quickly add, everyone was talking about 3rd year, Daniel Jones, let's see in his 3rd year. Well, I think these first 4 games have proven he's, I think, turned the corner and has now become, in my opinion, the franchise quarterback.
All right. Eddie Murphy saying a part of his success has to be giving Andrew Thomas watching his blind side. Beelan saying, hey, Kurt, you know how they won that game throwing the ball 400 yards 40 times. We'll get into that later, Beelan. Sis, is Daniel Jones the quarterback for now, and is he the quarterback of their future? Are you ready to go all in on both of those?
Well, first, I want to say I knew that stat of 1993, and going into this game, watching the Giants play the last 3 weeks, I really didn't give them a shot. So my hat goes off to them, even though I'm a Giant fan. To answer your question, I think he showed some great leadership, guts. But again, I'm old school. We were both coaches. I don't think one game makes a season. I really don't. I mean, I need to see more consistency like he showed against New Orleans moving forward before me personally going to say whether he's the franchise kid for the future. And right out of the gate, you're going to get tested on Sunday against the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. Kenny.
Make it short and sweet. Now, yes. Not sure about the future because Kurt always says this about quarterbacks. I'm not paying Dak this much money. I'm not paying this guy this much money. It's got to be the right price for Daniel Jones when he's contract. If you're saying Daniel Jones wants $40 million, I don't think I'm doing that. It's got to be a little less. It's got to be the right price. And yes, he is our quarterback of the future. But if it's not the right price, I'm looking elsewhere.
Okay. Finally, Kenny, you're on board with me. Finally. Paul, is Saquon Barkley back to being the real Saquon Barkley?
I would say not yet, but I think what we saw in the Saints game, he's slowly starting to become, I think, that back. I think he showed his ability to cut on a couple of plays, and I think he's gaining more and more confidence in what he thinks he can do. So we're not back to the Saquon Barkley of 2018, but I think we're slowly getting there.
All right, Kenny, I don't know. Just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down real quick, because Beelan's saying Daniel Jones is going to get like 30 to 35 million per year. Thumbs up or thumbs down to that, Mr. Kirkpatrick? I'm going like this.
Quarterbacks, I'm giving a thumbs up. 30 to 35. You can get backup quarterbacks for 25. I'm going 30, 35. Thumbs up.
Mr. Siciliano, is Saquon Barkley back to being the real Saquon Barkley?
What I seen from him Sunday, he's getting a little bit more comfortable mentally, and I don't think he's worrying that much about the knee the way he was running. So I think he's on his way there. Let's put it that way. And again, want to see him on Sunday, want to see him have another big breakout game, and God willing, he stays healthy and we move forward.
All right, Beelan's saying he's almost agreeing with what you're saying, sis. Saying Barkley has another 3 to 4 games to get back into his regular shape. So, Kenny,
Good point.
Yeah,
Kenny.
just to echo exactly what Paul and Sis said. I don't think he's there yet, but he's close. I'll make that. Not that I got nothing really else to add, but he's close.
All right. Is this the Giants' offense that we envisioned when all the weapons, Galladay, Tony, Barkley coming back? Is this the offense that you saw Sunday, the one you envisioned, Paul?
It's getting there. I think we saw Tony for the first time, and I think every Giant fan has got to be impressed by some of the plays that he made on Sunday. Galladay, we knew what he could do from Detroit. I think he made some big plays too. And I've read too many sites where people are saying, get rid of Shepard, get rid of Slayton. Well, to me, I think you have a wealth of talent, and I think the more the merrier is my feeling. And I think, you can rotate all these guys through. You're going to have an unbelievable possibility of nonstop offense if everyone can stay healthy. So I think it's a possibility, especially as Saquon improves, gets healthier, and gets his confidence back.
Sis, what about you? Is this the Giants' offense you envisioned when you got all the weapons, draft picks, free agencies, Barkley coming back?
I think Paul just nailed it on the head. You still got the other two guys coming back yet. And the two kids this week, they stepped up to the plate, man. They showed, they showed their wares. Now, my only question is Jason Garrett's play calling. That scares me a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get to that in a second, sis.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my biggest
We're going to get that in a second. Sis, Kenny, how about you? Is this the offense you envisioned?
Well, Paul nailed it. Sis followed up. I'm going to say yes, it was. And this was the Kenny Galladay I envisioned. Carson tells us every week we're going to love Kenny Galladay. I was waiting for it. And last week, I know I said, is it a concern with our preseason, the way we get ready for preseason, that we get off to slow starts? But now we might see the Giants offense being the offense we envisioned a week to come now. So, yes, just like Paul and Sis said, I think it was the offense I envisioned.
All right. I want to do, because, again, Paul does an awesome job of breaking it down. So he did the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm going to read you 4, and I want each one of you guys to pick the one that you think is the most important out of these 4. So this is what Paul had as down as the good from Sunday. Daniel Jones, awesome game. Number 2, Saquon Barkley, better week. He's getting better week by week. Number 3, offensive line. Plenty of time for Daniel Jones. No sacks allowed. Number 4, I want to see Sis's face on this one. Jason Garrett's play calling on Sunday. So Daniel Jones, Barkley getting better, the O-line, Garrett's play calling. Paul, out of those good, give me the one that's the most important, or you thought was the biggest one for Sunday.
I'm going to give the love to the O-line. He was not sacked one time, hardly pressured, and I think someone mentioned about Andrew Thomas. This kid now is finally playing like the 4th pick in last year's draft, and I think he's healthy. So I'm going to say the O-line.
Sis, out of those 4, Daniel Jones, Barkley, O-line, Jason Garrett, which one out of those good was the best one on Sunday?
I agree 150% with Paul. He had a clean pocket to throw in. They were blocking up front, opening holes for Barkley. Hands down, that's my pick, number 3.
Kenny, you agree with them, or are you going to go different?
Yeah, I'm going to clean sweep that one with the O-line. I'll throw an extra credit one in there. John Ross and Kentavious Toney's performances.
Okay.
But number 1 on that list is definitely clean sweep with the O-line.
All
I
right.
mean, not too many of us expected our O-line. People were saying we got the worst O-line in football. That's not the worst O-line in football. Sorry.
Okay, the bad, and these were Paul's, and we're going to do the same way. I'll read them again. These are the bad from Sunday's game. Defense, again, gives up a touchdown before both halves. Well, first half at the end of the game. Gano is human. He missed a 35-yard field goal. Number 3, Winston, 12 straight completions. Reason probably no pressure on him. Out of those 3, Paul, which one, when you look and you say, that's still the worst, that we just cannot have this? What was the worst?
It's got to be the lack of a pass rush pressure on the quarterback. I think I read this week Winston was never hit, no sacks. The defense didn't even have a tackle for loss. You can't keep winning games like that week after week. And somehow Graham has got to dial up somehow a better pass rush. So I would say the lack of a pass rush.
All right,
pressure.
Coach Breslin saying clean sweep. He's getting back to the good. O-line is the most important. What's up, guys? So Coach Breslin's chiming in.
Hey, Coach Breslin, glad you could join tonight.
Eddie Murphy is saying pass rush is the worst, and he's also saying the 2-minute defense is horrible is worse. So, Sis, I'll get to you. Defense giving up points right before the halves. Gano missing the field goal. Winston, 12 straight completions with no pressure. What was the worst?
The last one you just said, and Paul said, without a pass rush, you're in trouble with these teams you're getting ready to face. Look at what are you going to do in Dallas with no pass rush? He'll pick you apart. I don't like him, but he'll pick you apart.
Kenny.
I gotta clean sweep it, but I'm a little concerned about the touchdowns, at the end of the half, again, but that leads to pass rush. So I got to clean sweep it again with the pass rush. We've got to come up with some more schemes and get to the quarterbacks a little more. Leonard Williams is hope he's not having one of those years where he only has 1 or 2 sacks, because that's what it's starting to seem like.
Okay. And the ugly. Paul has 2 uglies. Beelan saying Giants should pick up linebacker Smith, the one that the Giants released. I read something.
Well, I got breaking news. The Packers picked him up.
Yeah.
He went to the Packers, yeah.
Wow.
I did hear that also.
Wow.
Shame on the Broncos and Giants for not making that guy.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup. That's a nice pickup. And Paul has the ugly, and there's only 2 of them. Paul, I'll start with you. Which one's the worst out of the ugliest? Which is the ugliest? Bad tackling, which allowed, obviously, Tyson Hill to score, or penalties again? Penalties still a problem. Which one out of the 2?
Well, I think I read somewhere they had 15 missed tackles, and that's a problem. But I'm going to say the penalties, because that goes to the undisciplined play. But I will give a shout out to the both defensive and offensive lines playing in New Orleans in a crazy raucous setting like that. They didn't have 1 offside penalty and 1 false start penalty. So I have to give the credit where credit's due for the Giants' offensive and defensive lines this week.
All right, Sis. Bad tackling or the penalties? Which one's the worst that concerns you the most?
The tackling you can fix. The penalties, in game time, you can't fix that. But the tackling you can fix in practice.
All right, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
100% penalties. It cost us the game in Washington, and it almost cost us the game in New Orleans. So penalties need to be fixed ASAP.
All right, and now Paul has, which is pretty cool, he always likes doing his grades at the end. So we're going to grade it, but he wants to do it a little differently. And he said since New Orleans is a city known for music, he wants to pick a song and give a grade for the week against the win versus New Orleans. So for his offense, he has a list of 5 songs. Out of these 5, which one would you pick that? But would you say, I don't know, kind of gave a review of this week? You have to put 1 song with the offense and then give me a grade. So his offensive songs, one you could pick: Born to Run, At Last, Eye of the Tiger, Celebration, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. What song you going with, Paul?
I thought all of them could be apropos for this win, but I'm going to go with a Rocky favorite, Eye of the Tiger.
And what grade
I
do you? I'm sorry, Paul.
no, and I would give for the offense an A minus for my grade this week.
All right, sis. Born to Run, At Last, Eye of the
Sis,
Tiger.
you have to sing the song that you picked. That's the added bonus for you. We need to hear you sing the song that you picked.
There'll be absolutely, positively no singing tonight. Go ahead, Kurt.
So, sis, Born to Run, At Last, Eye of the Tiger, Celebration, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. What song would you give for the Giants offense on Sunday? And then give me a grade for them.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
And a grade.
Offensive line, A minus.
Kenny.
Funny, we're all going different songs. I'm going At Last. I'm giving the offense a solid A. All around. Not A plus, because you got a perfect for that, but I'm giving them a solid A.
All right. Eddie Murphy's going At Last also. Defense, same situation. Here's the songs and give me a grade. Under Pressure, The Boys Are Back in Town, Shout, Come Together, Don't Go Breaking My Heart. Give me the song, Paul, and give me the grade.
I thought about this, and I'm gonna say Come Together. So I think the defense at the end did come together, and I'm gonna give the defense a B for this week.
Sis.
Under Pressure, straight up B for the defense.
Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Going different again. I'm going to go Don't Go Breaking My Heart because they almost broke my heart. And I'm going to go B minus on the defense just because of the lack of the pass rush.
All right, two more. For the coaching staff, song and grade. Lean on Me, Staying Alive, Hallelujah, Respect, Stand By Me, Paul.
All right. I'm going to go to one of my all-time favorites, Respect. And I gave the Giants coaching a B plus.
Mr. Beelan saying you guys are being really nice with these grades. Sis, Lean on Me, Staying Alive,
The win.
Beelan. Lean on Me,
Staying
Staying
Alive.
Okay.
Yes. Staying Alive.
And coaching grade.
Coaching grade, I'll give him a B.
Kenny.
Well, this wasn't one of my all-time favorite songs, but it was a Sunday favorite. Hallelujah. And I'm going to go right average with the coaching staff, C. I'm not going to be as generous yet with the coaching staff.
And the last one, what song for the Giants' outlook for the rest of the year? Don't Stop Believing, Bridge Over Troubled Water, Miracles, The Long and Windy Road, Don't Worry, Be Happy, and We Are the Champions. Which one out of those six, Paul?
Now you have to understand, if this was a loss we were talking about, I would be picking one different song, but I'm going to go with Journey's favorite song, Don't Stop Believing.
Sis, out of those six, Don't Stop Believing, Bridge Over the Troubled Water, Miracles, The Long and Windy Road, Don't Worry, Be Happy, We Are the Champions.
They got a tough schedule. So I'm going to go with the Long and Wind Road.
And Mr. Kirkpatrick.
First one we're agreeing on, and I'm going to agree with Sis. Long and winding road.
All right, and the last
long schedule ahead of us. So that's a long and winding road.
All right.
Perfect song for that situation.
And our last little Giant tidbit this week, like Sis just mentioned, big test coming up 4:00 Sunday. 3-1 Dallas Cowboys, Manny's Dallas Cowboys in first place. Offense is clicking. Not only can they throw the ball, they've been running the rock, and Beelan will get into that later. I mean, 40 times, 46. That offensive line's crazy. Defense is still an issue, but their offense is clicking. Two questions to end the Giants segment. Paul, I'm going to start with you. We'll go around. Real quick, Paul, how does the Giants D stop the Cowboys offense? And Beelan just threw the first prediction in, 31-13 Cowboys. So, Paul, how does the Giants D stop them this week?
I think somehow they have to put pressure, as Sis said, on Dak. I think if somehow they can take away some of the passing lanes, they can hopefully beat them. I'll be glad for them to run the ball 30, 40 times. I think they can stop Zeke, but I think that's got to start from pressure on Dak.
Okay. Eddie's saying with prayer, and he's giving a little prayer logo. Sis, you're a defensive guy. How do you stop Dallas this week, sis?
You know exactly what I do. Corner, safety blitzes. That's how you stop.
So you're going after him.
Send that safety right up the B gap. Absolutely. And bring the corner. Bring little S-Pop like we did in Ridgewood.
So you're going all over this.
No, that's the way you got to disguise your defense, and then you got to play ball, man. That's what you got to do to beat them.
Kenny.
I got two things. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with Paul, but I'm going to say they got to stop the running game. Dallas's running game's been on fire the last few weeks because I think we need to win the time of possession. We can win the time of possession and keep Dallas's defense on the field. We're going to win this game.
Well, Bielen's coming after. I'll let Bielen, when he comes on, go after Coach Siciliano.
My other thing would be is hold Dallas to field goals.
All right. Well, here's the last question. Here's the last question. On offense now, Paul, you have two options. A, just what Kenny said. I'm going to run the ball, keep possession, keep Dallas's defense on the field, or try to make it a shootout and try to outscore Dallas.
Well, I think there's going to be a game that Saquon might be considered back. This might be the game because I do think they have to control the clock and keep the time of possession and keep the Cowboys offense off the field. So if we can control the clock by running the ball, that's what I would try and do the whole game.
Sis, what about you? You want to run the ball, keep possession, or you want to try to make it a shootout with Dallas?
No, that's the last thing you want to do there. You want to again, you want to eat the clock up. Smart play calling, little short passes, take your shots here and there. Don't go toe to toe with that because you're not going to beat them that way.
And Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Echo Paul and Sis's words. I'm going to, control the clock, 5-7 minute drives, wear down that defense of Dallas. It's not good, but it's good. Like Kurt's been saying the last 3 weeks, it's good when they're not on the field. If you keep them on the field, you're going to beat this Dallas team.
I think my whole key is this, and I think Kenny answered it. You better stop the run game first, because Coach Breslin, Coach Sis could always say it. If the team could run the ball on you, you're dead, because now here comes the play action over the top. They could do whatever they want. I think stop their run, let Dak beat you, you're going to have a great chance. If they're running the ball down your throat, it's going to be a long day. And Dallas has been doing it, but you know what? Hey, you win this game, those first 3 games now, it's a long distant memory, and you're right there for that division. So, Kenny, that's all I got with the notes of narrating the Giants.
Did you say Bielen was talking smack again?
Yeah, he said. Yeah, he's saying with your game plan, if you bring pressure, teardrop dimes all day for Dak.
Yeah. Okay.
He's just a sour grape Jet fan, Paul.
No, I'm going to school.
I'll give him credit for the win this Sunday.
I'm going to school Bielen tonight on pass coverages when he comes on. He's not even going to know what I'm talking about.
Paul, always a pleasure. Thank you for coming on tonight. I know you had a rough week again. Speedy recovery to your mom. We always love having you on. Really appreciate you coming on tonight with the week that you had. Speedy recovery to your mom, and hopefully next week we can have another big victory celebration.
I hope so. Thank you guys as usual. I appreciate all of you guys, and thank you again for the thoughts and prayers for my mom.
Yes, absolutely. That's the most important. Absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be in touch during the week for sure.
Appreciate it. Have a good night, guys.
Thank
Good
you,
rest of the
Paul.
show. Thanks.
Okay, Kenny. So there's Paul Rosen, does an unbelievable job with the notes, getting reviewing the game, previewing the game, and hey,
I can't rave about the job he does.
no,
It's just
awesome.
makes it fun for me, sis, as a Giant fan who doesn't get to watch 100% of the games. The job he does is just great. It keeps me entertained, and glad we can have him on each week with us.
You got to get a pocket television at work so you can put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
But I think it's time for Bronco Mania. But somebody needs to join us, so I got to bring him in, sis.
Who's this?
He's coming after you.
Oh God.
Beelin's with us.
It's Beelan. It's got to be Beelan.
Mr. Beelin.
There he is.
He's actually after
There's my
Kurt Moore
man.
tonight. He's after
There's my
Kurt
boy.
Moore.
There's my boy.
We're gonna sit back because he's after Kurt tonight.
Well, I'm ready
We're
for
gonna
Kurt
start
tonight.
with
Kurt's about to go back into his
Bronco
shell.
Mania.
The beard looks good on you.
I brought Beelin on for Bronco Mania, and then I brought Beelin on for my slay or stay in college football, because these are two topics that Beelin wants to come after you with tonight.
Well, real quick, Eddie Murphy's got a question. Kurt, how do you feel about the Ravens going for the 100-yard game streak instead of kneeling? I'm going to be honest. I don't know why Fangio got all bent out of shape out of that. It's like so stupid. I mean, listen, it does never happen where at a game like that you take the knee. I mean, if that's important to the Ravens, that's important. Personally, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with it. What I would just do is, you put it away. We see you again. Then we'll take care of it on the field. Just Fangio, like, he's all bent out of shape. Like, who really cares? They beat you. Who really cares if you broke that streak? I mean, what does that streak mean, first off? It means nothing. So that's my opinion on that. I don't know why you got so bent out of shape. That's the thing. Like, and all Denver radio this week is like, why is he worried about that? Like, that's what he's worried about? Like, we got more issues than that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, so it's time for Briggsy's Bronco Mania. This is first this year a Bronco loss. We've had 3 weeks. The Broncos were 3-0, and then the Ravens came to town, and let Kurt talk about the game. I know they lost Teddy Bridgewater, Teddy two gloves, but we'll let him talk about the game. And then Beelin, Sis, and myself can respond when Kurt's done talking about the game.
all right, again, real quick, big, like you said, 3-0 at home, stadium's rocking. You get Baltimore in your house. Game starts off, boom, Denver's up. Bridgewater hits Fant. He should have hit Albert earlier, went right through his hands, but you're in control. Hey, what does Baltimore do? They run the ball. Just like Eddie said. You held them to under 100 yards. Hasn't been happening in 42 games. You did your job there. What failed? Your pass defense. We have the number one highest paid secondary. Blown assignments, missing passes. Baltimore, they didn't do anything great. You had Andrews and Marquise Hollywood Brown running wide open. No one's covering them. That secondary, you know what? That secondary ruined that game for Denver. On the offensive side, first half, running the ball, 8 yards. 7. I want to say it was like 6 yards a carry. Javonte Williams, I don't know if you guys watched it, had just a run. He was carrying like 7 guys with him. The guy's a beast in the league already. Bridgewater gets hurt. Drew Lock comes in. Pat Shurmur, and this is why, again, I have no faith in him. Second half, you're down 17-7 for most of that second half. You run the ball, Sis, you ready for this? 5 times? Averaging 6 yards a carry? With bringing Drew Lock in, who has, listen, he didn't have reps. You don't get reps in the NFL. What the hell is Pat Shurmur doing? First down, their first series. It's like Drew Lock gets a first down on, first play, boom, 10-yard completion. Runs it again, 2nd and 4. No runs the rest of this. I mean, what are you doing? Just terrible play calling, bad with the secondary. Listen, Baltimore is better than them. Is Baltimore much? Baltimore didn't impress me, I'll tell you that. They let Denver in that whole. Denver had the ball like 4 or 5 or 6 times from the 50 or in Baltimore territory. They just, again, no running the ball, penalties. The one thing that does scare me, though, and I will say this, and this is where we talk about money. After the 3 wins, people already were saying, sign Bridgewater right now. Sign him now for the $33 million. Nope. I'll take Ted Bridgewater now with Carolina paying, but I'm not. I saw it Sunday with everything around them. Weapons, decent O-line, highest paid defense. Still can't get it done. Now, if I'm going to sign him, I'm going to lose Von Miller. I'm going to lose Bradley Chubb. 5-6 win team. No way am I giving that guy that money. That Denver radio from we're going to pay him now to down. Don't like it. If Drew Lock, hopefully he goes this week. But I'm telling you, Shermer and Drew Lock, they're not giving that kid a chance. Shermer is a horror show, especially with Lock. They don't run the ball, sis. 6 yards a carry. You're not running the ball? Why? Joke.
Well, Kurt, let me ask you something. And you know me, I was Bridgewater, Team Bridgewater. I was not Team Lock, but our good friends, I listen to their, again, when I'm at work and people are sleeping in the middle of the night, 3, 4 a.m., what I do is I do my homework. I listen to our shows. I listen to our good friends at Rocky Mountain. They did a pregame show and postgame show on the Bronco game. And their talk with the Broncos was, and this goes to your coaching staff, who not saying anything about our Giants coaching staff, but I think your Bronco coaching staff's worse than our Giants staff. Why is Drew Lock running the scout team and not getting at least 20% of the reps during the week in case you have an injury to your quarterback?
I just, honestly, though, I just think
I'm not a Drew Lock guy, but Drew Lock was clueless and had no idea the game plan when he came in.
Well, that's on him because, again, I just think
that's not on Drew Lock. That's on Shermer and the coaching staff.
But I think with the NFL now, you practice Wednesday. The first day's Wednesday. You practice Thursday, Fridays. A little practice. You don't have time to really get your backup quarterback.
There's not enough time to rep the second team quarterback.
Right. So
that's why he's got to run a scout team.
Right. Yep. He's got to run the scout team, sis. And also, you know what? You better be mature enough to look and say, this is what we're running. The problem, though, is why are you throwing the ball he threw the ball like 30 times in the second half, down 10 points. And you're running the ball for 6 yards a carry. 5, that's on. You know what Pat Shermer's problem is? He thinks he wants to be a head coach again. And how is he going to be a head coach again? Throwing the ball all over the lot, scoring 40 points. That's not who Denver is. Denver's a defense, run the ball team. Not that garbage. It doesn't work. It doesn't work with other teams, and it doesn't work with this team. So Shermer, disgraceful performance on Sunday. Disgraceful.
Phelan, you want to add anything? I know you've been itching up the bit there.
I don't know. I mean, I think the game was pretty tied up for the most part. I mean, I didn't watch the whole thing. I had it in my picture where I was watching it, like, hands on from the games. But I mean, I think like the biggest thing was like the second half where Kurt, you can hold me on to this. I think they had the Ravens inside like their 5.
Yep.
And they punted the ball. They got it back. And Drew Lock just missed. I think, was it Sutton? I think he missed.
Sutton on the one-on-one.
I mean,
yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater probably would have nailed that. Drew Lock, because he doesn't get practice during the week and everything else. Yep. Oh, man, that was the game changer right there, honestly.
Yeah, you're right. Again, you're right.
I did get to watch the game because Baltimore is in my viewing area. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to go watch the Giants at Applebee's. And look what happens. They ended up beating the Saints. So I watched the Bronco-Baltimore game. What I saw, Kurt, that would concern me is your punt coverage. Special teams every week.
Kenny, our special teams.
So, Kurt,
our special teams has been a disaster. Disaster. By the way, Matt Staffiero, good evening, gents. The Lock Flogler is present. He is not a Lock person. And listen, Lock did not.
Matt? Check Matt Staffiero, and 4th99 was on tonight too. Check out the Rocky Mountain Sports. They do a great job talking Broncos and all sports, but check them guys out. They do a great job over there.
I will say this. Listen, Lock did not perform well when he got in there, and that's on Lock because, listen, be mature. You're the backup. That's the decision they make. be ready to go. You never know what happens. But Shermer did not help him. The play calling was, again, how are you not running the ball? That to me, it's just, I don't know.
Well, I saw a play. I watched the game. That run that Javonte Williams was dragging the whole Ravens guys. The first thing I said, guys, like, oh my God, Kurt is going nuts. The Rocky Mountain guys must be going nuts with this kid. This kid's a stud. Run this guy 20 times a game, 25 times a game.
Why
and then
not?
Second half, like you said, they didn't use him.
5 times.
They didn't use him.
5 runs in the second half, down 10 points. Come on, like
Let's
Beeman
do
said.
this, Kurt. Let's do this, Kurt. Anything else with I don't want to have you keep, you lost last week. Let's look ahead. You're still 3-1.
Right.
Put that game beside you. What are you looking forward to in Pittsburgh? And give us your prediction, and then we can add anything we want.
Again, listen, the game, hopefully Teddy plays. I mean, they're saying it's trending a little bit that he should be practicing on Friday. But, if he's not, I do not want Drew Lock. I mean, I joke with Beelan all the time about these teams throwing 40 times. Drew Lock should not be throwing the ball even, 32 times if he's the quarterback. Run the ball and play defense against Pittsburgh. Their offense has been pathetic. Big Ben looks shot. Let your defense do what they do. Run the ball, play defense, and get out of there with a win. If it's Teddy, it's the same thing. Like, you are a defense, run the ball team. Then you're going to have your weapons. Honestly, I always joke about Dallas and stuff, but that's what Dallas is doing now. It's run, run, run. Here comes the 8th and 9th man in. Boom, over the top, because I got CeeDee Lamb and Cooper and these guys. It's the same thing with Denver. Run, run, run. They come up. We have Sutton. We're gonna get Judy. We got Tim Patrick. We got Fan. But we shouldn't be lining up, going 5 wide, throwing the ball. Why? It's stupid. You have the great defense. Let the defense win the game. Run the ball, play defense. But hey, 3-1, I would still take 3-1. But now, you know what? You got the Raiders next week, Pittsburgh this week. No reason why they can't go to Pittsburgh and get a win. And I think they do get a win. I think I'm gonna go 23. I'll go 23-17 Denver.
I'll go real quick, then I'm going to go Sis, and we're going to end with Beelan before you finish it off, Kurt. I'm going to go also Denver, because I don't think Pittsburgh is something wrong. I think this may be the year Pittsburgh is going to have their losing season. I'm going to go a little lower scoring game. It's going to be a defensive battle. I'm going to go 20-17 Denver. Sis, you want to add anything to the game? Give us a prediction.
Yeah, again, I think people make way too much out of one game, whether it's the Giants, whether it's the Broncos, whether it's Alabama, whether it's this one or that one. It's a long season. There's 13 more games to go. And, it is what it is, man. Like, again, Alabama gets beat, but I'm not going to go, like, climbing a hole. Do I want to see them get beat? Of course not. But, there's somewhere, and it's part of my, it's on my mind tonight. You'll understand it later. It's part of my thing tonight with, do people make too big of a deal of their teams and sports? And they do. They get crazy with it. Again, it's nothing wrong with being a fan, but somewhere along the line, the reality has to come in. Now, do I think Teddy Bridgewater is going to start for Denver on Sunday? No, because of the concussion. He's not going to practice till Friday. So that's going to be like a little minus for Denver. But then again, Big Ben's not Big Ben anymore. So
Right.
I think Denver has a real good shot of going to Pittsburgh and beating them. Big Ben is not Big Ben anymore. For whatever, if he's too old or his body can't. Somewhere along the line, you have to step back and look in the mirror and say, guess what? My career is over as a player. My career is over as a coach. Now I'm a fan, and that's exactly me to a T. I had my heyday. I played college ball, captain, whatever, tried out with the Giants. My kids were D1 players. Good. I'm blessed. I am a blessed person. But that's my spiel on the Broncos segment.
We'll let Beelan go, and Kurt, you'll have the final word with Bronco Mania, and then we'll do Sis's Mind in about 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, simple. I mean, I just think I just have the Steelers beating them like 23-20 just because the Steelers are home. I think if the Broncos were home, I think they would probably be a little bit different. But I don't know. I just think like TJ Watt, and the defenses, especially with Lock starts back there, they're going to come after him. So that's my pick.
Fair enough. Kurt, final word.
My final word, and Sis made a great point. It's only one game. I totally agree with him. You know, I started by saying, and Matt can back me up on this, is, you know, the secondary was a disappointment. And again, you know, I would have been disappointed if Baltimore just came and ran down our throats and ran for 240 yards. They didn't. We shut their running game down. They hit big plays. Denver secondary did not have a good game. That's fixable, Sis, right? You could fix that. The thing that scares me, though, is the coaching, the play calling. That's the part, because there's no way you put in your backup quarterback, and I know he's not like an everyday backup quarterback. He's started in the NFL.
Right.
If you're just gonna go after getting 6 yards of carry running the ball, and you're gonna only run it 5 times, that's a problem, because just like Kenny said, the coaching staff has not gotten better. It's now 3 years of Fangio, 2 years of Shermer, and it's getting stupider every week. Why would you not run the ball? Just like you said, you got Gordon and Williams. Run the ball. That's what's scary about it. The defensive thing, they'll fix the secondary. The coaching, I don't know if that's going to be fixed. And if it's not, you better get the hell rid of Shermer, because it's causing problems. That's my ending, Kenny.
All right, well, that's going to conclude Bronco Mania. We got our predictions. We did our review of last week's Bronco game. And it's that time. We're going to do what's on Sis's mind this evening. And the floor is yours, Mr. Siciliano. What is on your mind?
All right, and I'd like to get some feedback, hopefully, from the audience also. I'm going to start out with the Urban Meyer incident, because as a father and try to be a pretty stand-up person, that this type of stuff that's going on, okay, like, what happened to the role models in sports? You're a head coach of a professional team. You're married, you got kids, and you're in some bar with college chicks? I mean, seriously, what is it coming to? Kenny, what do you think?
I think he's folded under the pressure in the NFL, just like almost every other college football coach does. They fold in the NFL. Nick Saban, the greatest college football coach that I've seen, folded in the NFL. You know, he's got the pressures there in the NFL. He's got a team he knows that probably won't win more than 3 games this year. And he went out and he had a good time, and he's doing stuff he shouldn't be doing. You know, and who knows what his situation is at home. We don't know his situation at home, but
True.
Shame on him. Shame on him. He's a one-and-done NFL coach, and a college team will give him a chance, like a USC or somebody else, and he'll be a college football coach again. Should he be? No, not with that kind of attitude at college bars, like you said, Sis. He shouldn't be allowed back. I wouldn't want him coaching my team.
Kenny, excuse me, should the Jaguars fire him? I left that out.
I'm old school. I would suspend him or fire him.
Okay, because
That's how I feel about the guy.
Somebody else brought up that he's looking to get fired so he can go to USC. That was, to me, that's more of an out than, you know, what he did. But anyway, Kurt, what's your take on it?
Before I go, Coach Breslin, don't get me started on Urban Meyer. He is garbage, not a role model.
Yeah.
Don't know why he was hired in the first
absolutely.
place. They are not happy with him at all. I think he should be removed. Not a fan. Poor role model. He's saying yes about fired. I agree with Coach Breslin.
Attaboy, Coach Breslin. Yep.
Sis, look what he did in Florida. He had, you know, Riley Cooper. He had Hernandez. That team, you know, All it
Tebow.
was about winning, but it was garbage. You know, he let him do what he
Yep.
did. Then he pulled
They were gangbangers, yeah.
Then
Yeah.
he pulled, okay, Florida's not good anymore. All right, he's sick. He can't coach anymore. He frauded out of that when he couldn't win. I'm going to go to
Right.
Ohio State. Same garbage over there. Like Coach Breslin's saying. They said before this even happened, nobody respects him over there. They don't.
Right.
It shows what kind of coach he really is. He's not a good coach. He always just had the talent over there. You know, Tebow won him the titles over there. Ohio State.
Ohio
got lucky.
State, he
It's
had the talent.
the
Yep.
same thing. This guy, he's showing he's made no adjustments. You know, he's like in Kenny's word, guy's a fraud. They should just get rid of him. I mean, just end it now because it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. They should just get rid of him now. I totally agree. He's garbage. He's totally garbage. And here's the sad part. You know, Jenny Hoops was saying the other day, think about a guy like Trevor Lawrence, right? He was at Clemson, whatever. He's got Dabo. Nobody's saying anybody's, Dabo's not a hero, whatever. But you go from that, and there's your NFL experience, and you're looking, and you have this garbage as your head coach. What is that going to do for him? I mean, get rid of him.
Yep. Johnny Beal, what do you think?
I mean, from what I heard and read, is that Urban Meyer's is always like a guy who goes out to bars and stuff like that. Like he was always like a people person. So
Okay.
I don't see it being super surprised that he's doing stuff like that. The whole female thing, that's a little iffy. But I don't know. I mean, it's tough, right? Like you got to think about it this way. His team was flying out, right? They're going back to Jacksonville. What are you doing that night anyways? You're not really doing anything that night. You're probably going to go home. You're going to go to sleep. He's probably going to take a flight, maybe that personal jet back or something like that the next day, be at practice, right? Or if they have the day off. So if they had, let's say hypothetically, they had a day off on Monday. I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate. Like, is it really that big of a deal if they have off on Monday and he's not with the team?
But I just think I'm just looking as you're the head coach. You're the head coach. They're looking at you as a role model.
Yeah,
you're married. Listen. If he's a single guy and he's out there, hey, whatever. Hey, coach, that's great.
Exactly.
But he's a married guy. What's he? How's he telling you, Beelan? Hey, do the right thing. Do the right thing. Look what you're doing. You're the coach.
Yeah.
That's like somebody smoking 3 packs of cigarettes and sitting there and telling you not to whatever. Now, John, you got a beautiful family. You have a beautiful wife. You're married, okay? I'm going to put you in a situation. Mm-hmm. Your wife saw you in a bar. That was on Twitter. When you came home, Mr. Beelan, what would happen to you?
Oh, first of all, the door would be locked, and I think they'd be stick it out the window.
Okay.
Sleeping in the garage.
And again, I wasn't trying to, be rough with you, but that's exactly what would happen to me.
Yeah.
Kurt, Kenny's not married. That's what would happen.
But at the end of the day, though, too, I'm just playing devil's advocate on this.
Right.
Nobody knows what type of relationship that him and his wife have.
No,
right?
that's true.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
It's a great point.
There's that. There's also if they were off on Monday, what are you gonna do? You're gonna fly back and do what? Stay home and go do what you gotta go and do. That's another thing. And so I don't know. Is it a bad look? Yeah, it's definitely a bad look. But I think people are blowing it a little bit out of proportion, a little bit too much, but it's definitely overall like a bad look for everything.
And Coach Breslin's just saying his exact words. It is still a bad look when your leader is doing that. It is important to try and stay away from those type of situations.
But think about it this way, though. There's a lot of guys, right? A lot of players, a lot of coaches that have done stupid things before, okay? And they all say sorry, apologize, and do things and everything like that. Like it happens. Like look at Michael Vick, for example. He did the whole dog thing. Majority of people forgave him. He's been doing a lot of things for shelters and whatever else he has to do and got wrong. Like people make mistakes sometimes, and it happens. But I think it's a little bit blown out too much.
Okay.
Beelan, real quick, Coach Breslin saying, I would be coming to your house. I can understand him wanting to visit family. I just think his track record is bad, and I agree. It really is. He doesn't have the best quote unquote reputation, and I just don't think it's going to work.
No. Now the next question is, all of us, including myself, are we as fans? Are we expecting like every year, to hold these teams to these high standards, whether it's basketball, football, hockey, baseball, or whatever. Are we always expecting the Yankees, for example, to win the World Series, and then when they get into one playoff game and they lose, the season, do we expect too much? Or is it, on the other hand, that people are paying so much money to go to these games that, I want to see the product on the field, on the court, on a hockey rink. I'm paying my money. So I want to see the best of the best. So, Kurt, what do you think?
No, I agree with you. Like it was with Cole a couple weeks ago. I think they booed him in the Yankee Stadium when he had a bad performance. And
Right.
listen, I think the fans have every right to go and say, hey, I'm paying a lot of money to go see this game, and my money and my tickets, you know what? That money somehow or some way is going to that guy's contract, which is 320 whatever it was, $4 million.
Right.
And you know what? He shouldn't be losing. I forgot even who he was pitching to against, but you know what? He should have a better performance like that. It's the same thing in the NFL and stuff like that. So I don't think it's that people are crazy. I mean, expectations are, again, like, I don't think I have expectations of every one of my teams. They have to be a champion. I mean, I don't believe Denver Broncos can win a Super Bowl this year. I don't believe the Knicks can win a championship this year. But the Yankees, when you have a $204 million payroll and you're getting beat year in and year out by a team that has a $40 million payroll, something's wrong there. And you know what? Yeah, like the Yankee fans should get on the Yankees because it's all this payroll. Everybody's great. Everybody's a star. Gleyber Torres, oh my God, he's the next. Listen, the Cubs won that trade. They got a World Series. What has Gleyber Torres done? He's gone worse and worse and worse every year. So you know what? Yeah, Theo Epstein won that trade over Cashman. He got a championship out of it. But the people that just go and say, Judge is this, Torres is that, oh my God, Sanchez is this. That's what the people, they get built so up. The truth of the matter is they're not really a good team. They're not.
He pitched against an ex-Yankee last night called Evaldi.
Yeah, it's like
that's
the thing. So I think some people are unrealistic. Like if Beelan's going there saying, fire the whole coaching staff, the Jets only won 6 games. That's unrealistic because the Jets aren't going to win more than that. But
yeah, but see, that's I'm going to steal the next one. So that's just to piggyback off it. I think it's different, like for different fans, right? Like me as a Jets fan, I'm very practical. I understand that we're not winning now. I know we're going to win 5 to 6 games this year, and I'm okay with that. But that's me being practical. Some other Jets fan might be like, "Oh, we're winning 10 games." I'm like, "Dude, like, you're smoking something. Get out of here. You're out of your bird." But when you have teams like the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Chiefs, all the top teams, you expect that.
Yeah.
Until that kingdom falls and cracks and doesn't happen anymore. There's certain teams you're always going to expect that from. The Yankees, you're always going to expect a playoff, and get into it. And so, like the Cowboys, America's team, stuff like that. But no one talks about the Rays every year. The Rays are there and they have the lowest contract, lowest payroll in baseball every year. Yeah. So I think it all depends. It all depends on like where you are geographically, and how you are as a person, to be practical. Like as a fan for your teams.
Correct. Kenny, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go a little different here, but me, I'm a Yankee fan, so yeah, my expectations, yes.
Okay.
As a Yankee fan, we're supposed to be in the playoffs. We're supposed to be in the World Series. We're supposed to be contending every year. When we don't make the playoffs, it's a bad year. Kurt and I are Knicks fans. Our expectations, we joke around, oh, we're going to be really good this year. But if we won 20 games, we wouldn't be surprised neither. And as a Giants fan, we're in rebuilding mode. We're not there. I'm realistic. But I'm going to throw fans out there, and I'm going to throw an example out there. Somebody who's had the last 20 years of high expectations, and the expectations were there. The New England Patriot fans. Last 20 years, they had Tom Brady. They won how many Super Bowls with Tom Brady? And what did they do on Sunday night? They booed him. That tells you what fans are.
Well,
They
you're
know
only as
their
good as your
expectations
last
aren't
game.
there.
Yeah. You're only as good as
You
your
know their
last game.
expectations aren't there anymore, so they're just going to go out and boo the guy that got them 6 Super Bowls and
Right.
20 winning seasons, AFC East titles 20 years in a row. Well, let's boo him because we ain't winning now. So yeah, some fans have sour grapes.
But I will say this, sis. I will say this, and I don't know if it was Kenny or Beelan mentioned the word expectations. Expectations change, though. Like Kenny just mentioned as a Knicks fan. We better not win 20 games this year because then that's a problem. We looked at Julius Randle last year and we're going, oh my God, Julius Randle. Now we gave Julius Randle a lot of money. So you know what, Randall? You better put us on your back and beat Atlanta.
Kurt,
if you don't,
the example I'm making, Kurt, is Yankee fans. I'm miserable because we didn't make the playoffs. That's our expectations every year.
Yeah.
The Patriots were there for the last 20 years. Now they don't know how to lose. So they're booing everybody and anybody who comes to New England.
But Kurt,
including the greatest of all time, Tom Brady.
But Kurt, for example, the Knicks, right? What is your expectations this year of the Knicks?
The Knicks
top
this year,
4 team.
They should at least win the first round and they should go. They should be better than what they were last year. So I don't have to look at regular season. Like, I don't care if they're the first seed, second seed, third seed. I want them out of the first round, and they should be playing in that semifinal round. Eastern Conference semis, they should be
better on paper. You did some good offseason moves. Expectations, get out of the first round.
Get out of the first round. That's my expectation. And if not, it's a failed year.
I agree. Let's get off that for now. Let's go to Kurt with this one. As a society, have we accepted the behavior of these players and coaches? Dak a few years ago in New Orleans at the Mardi Gras, lifting up the girl's shirt. These guys getting DWIs. Has that all taken a backseat, even in everyday life? It's all about me. It's all about the money. It's all about greed. Have we taken a back seat to all of it? Here's another one. How many times is enough? Do you give a guy a second chance, a third chance, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Gordon, how many chances are you going to give him?
Right.
How many chances are you going to give him?
To me, it's an absolute joke how Josh Gordon's back in the league, and just like you said, the NFL, and the story I'll always remember is the story with, by the way, Dodgers just tied it up on a Turner home run.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God, the NFL is putting their foot down. No more, they're not going to let Ray Rice back in the league. Ray Rice was in his 30s as a running back, and he was not even a shell of the player he was. When Kareem Hunt did the same thing, when Joe Mixon did the same thing, those guys were first-round picks, and Kareem Hunt got signed immediately. Why? Younger, still good players in the league. But yeah, there's no rules. That's the problem. There's no rules. There's no, I forgot, the hockey guy I forgot a couple years ago, Beelan, you might know. Remember the guy when he slashed the guy with the neck? And they said, you're done. No playoffs. No, I remember Robbie Cano. Rob Cano's out for the year, but he'll be back for the postseason. It's like a vacation. That's it.
Yep.
Done. You're done for the year. Not okay. So like Deshaun Watson, right now, come up with what Deshaun Watson has. Suspend him for a year. Don't say it's a year. If he's good, it's 10 games. If he goes to bingo, it's 4 games. That's garbage. Garbage.
So Kurt, to piggyback again off of your stuff. So 2 things, right? Josh Gordon example I think is one of the most ridiculous things people use about us. Every year, Josh Gordon decides to leave himself and check him into somewhere. And what the NFL does is they put him on that list. So it's not the NFL doing it because he does it. He goes, I have a problem. I'm going to take care of my issue. And the NFL has to, by law or code, they have to suspend him. And that's and then they can reinstate him. So that's why he comes back every time, because he's taken his own steps to doing it. The Deshaun Watson thing, I'm sorry. It's so mind-boggling right now because all these people come out, They come out, whatever it is. It could be true, it's not true, whatever. But you can't. As soon as the lawyer says, "Oh, I'm going to release all the names of the people that come out," out of the 20 girls that were there, like 14 of them said, "Oh, I'm dropping it." Oh, why are you dropping it all of a sudden? Because your name's going to be out in the public.
I agree.
But now,
with you
but and now you're making this dude's career. You're making this dude's career a complete S show because you want to do something that might not be true. It could be true, but it might not be true. And it's not fair to, regardless if it's him or if it's a female or whoever it may be. It's not fair. It's so easy to accuse somebody. Like somebody can go accuse you at something at school, and you know what the school's going to do? I suspend you, and you're like, what?
Absolutely.
Beelan, I totally agree with you on this, and I would just say this because me and Jen were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, and this is society, not sports, society. You do that to me, when we go to court, if I get off, what my charges would be, you're going to jail. You're doing it. You're right. They have nothing to lose. It's either I get money in a settlement or, I'm going to get money somehow, or what else do I have to lose? You're right. Put it up where you're charging me, that's fine. But when we go to court, I win that, you're getting what I would have got. Yep. You're going away for 4 years. People wouldn't start charging stuff like that.
Exactly.
I agree with all you guys.
Kenny, your take, Kenny.
But I will say about the Deshaun Watson thing, why did he want to get traded? Why did he want out of Houston so bad? He knows something, he did something, and he was afraid that but I'm saying, I get what John's saying. It's all accusations. Maybe he did something to one person, and that one person called up her 5 or 10 friends and did something out of spite to try and get this guy in trouble. We don't know. We won't know for a while yet what he did. I think the NFL and all sports allow the superstars to get away with more than if somebody was a special team player in NFL, right, or a bench player, the last guy in, a middle relief guy in Major League Baseball.
They'd be gone in 2 minutes, those type of players. No questions
asked. I just feel the stars get away with more. Look at Michael Vick years ago, dogfight. Let's allow him back in the NFL.
Right.
The examples we can go on and on and on about examples.
Yep.
As for the Josh Gordon thing, I kind of agree with John. Marijuana is legal in a lot of states now. That's what the guy got in trouble for a lot of his times. Marijuana smoking. Marijuana is legal in quite a few states now. So if that's what the worst the guy did, let him back in. Back in.
Who's taking his own time off to say he has issues?
Yeah, I agree with you, Bill. He's a little different.
But I do think some of the stars get the royal treatment and a pat on the back as opposed to the backup player who's not.
Listen, here's a perfect example. How about Richard Sherman? Richard Sherman 6 months ago was trying to knock down his in-law's door and going nuts on everybody.
Yeah.
Well,
domestic violence.
My last take on it is I'm going to bring up an example. Myles Garrett. What he did was disgraceful. And let's talk about Cleveland. Let's give him a big contract. I used to argue with Briggs on all the time about this.
Yep.
You want to prove yourself? You're going to make league minimum, or most of your salary is going to go to charities. That's when you want to come back in the NFL that bad? I'm not giving you $20 million a year. Why do we allow that? The league should say, yes, you can come back. Josh Gordon can come back. Deshaun Watson come back. But Deshaun Watson ain't going to be bringing home $40 million a year. Deshaun Watson may bring home $4 million a year, and the rest can go to charities of his choice.
Absolutely.
And see how the tide turns and how if he really wants to come back to the NFL or if it's all about money.
I got one more, sis, and I'm sorry, I was real quick on my mind, is this whole Ben Simmons thing. And this is what has to happen because it happens with James Harden. It's happening with Deshaun Watson and Ben Simmons. What these people do is somebody like Ben Simmons, okay, I'm going to sign my extension, get the most money I can get from the 76ers, then I'm going to hold them hostage. I'm not playing, I want to be traded. You know what they should do? Here's what they should do. You want to be traded and you're not going to report? your contract is voided. So you know what? The Sixers don't have you anymore. Go somewhere else. Let's see if they give you $30 million. You can't even hit a free throw. Let's see if you make that money.
Kurt, this is the best thing I like about Josh Harris, though, the owner of the 76ers. Josh Harris literally came out in public and said, I'm willing to pay him to not play.
I love that. I love it.
That's what he legitly said. And he's going to get fined, and I'll legitly pay him not to play.
Love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, my segment's done. Good job. Thank you for participating. There'll be no more segments the rest of the year.
You always keep us on our toes, sis. I love it. Kurt, I want to do college football real quick. I got a fun little 5-10 minute segment for us called
We got like 10 minutes, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Players stay, and then we'll do our top 4 and our first 2 out, like we always do. So Slayer stay is going to be simple. I'm going to name a team. You're going to tell me if they're going to stay where they're ranked or are they going to drop out of the top 10 or top 15 before season's end. All right? Now I'm going to start off with one of Kurt's teams that he hasn't been given much respect, Beelan. Let's go with Cincinnati, Mr. Beelan. Are they staying or are they going to get slayed out of the top 5, 10 where they're ranked? They're ranked number 5. Are they going to get slayed out of the top 5?
I'm going to say yes because they're not going to get the respect.
I'm with you. I think Oklahoma's going to leapfrog them because of the strength of schedule and stuff like that. So I'm going to say they're going to get slayed as well. Sis.
I think John just called it. So, yeah, they're going to get hammered. Mm-hmm.
You're going to slay them too, and Kurt.
Slay them, same thing. Listen, I give them respect. I mean, but again, they're just
you don't like them.
No way.
I don't like them. I just think
you don't like them.
I'm sorry, you're not going to take the big boys over them. So
you don't like them.
That just segued me right in. He took the bait. He took the bait because my next team on this list, I'm coming back right to Mr. Valenti, Clemson. Are they going to stay in the? Will they be in the top 15 and will they stay there? Or are you slaying them out of? I know they're not even in the top 25 now, but we're talking about by the end of the year. Are you keeping them in the top 15, or are you slaying them?
I'll say this one more time: if they lose again, slay them and throw them out of the top 60. But all I keep hearing here is everybody on this panel, Sis and you, Kenny, and I know Beelan's with me on this. I asked you guys the question in Quick Hitters, and Sis said, I guarantee it. Alabama, Georgia for the SEC, Alabama, Georgia for the national title. Well, I saw one team so far this year play Georgia to anything that's close, and that's not my Auburn Tigers yet. And this team shut Georgia out. Shut them out. So top 15, if they don't lose again, hell yeah.
Okay, let me.
I'm slaying them. We're gonna get Sis, and then John's gonna finish this one. Sis, you slaying them, or you keeping them in the 15, staying?
The game he's talking about when Clemson gave them a run for their money. It was the first game, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So everybody was fresh from the summer.
Didn't score a touchdown.
Exactly. Yada yada yada. There's no way that team will be in the playoffs this year. No way. Sorry.
Go ahead, Beelan.
So the same team that didn't score a touchdown against the Bulldogs, the same team that only scored 14 points against Georgia Tech, who's ranked like 100, okay? The team that lost to the Wolfpack, and the team that basically should have lost last week, because you knew they should have lost last week with that fumble.
Yep.
Boston College should have beat them. And I would call that. That game was good. They fumbled the ball. It was over. They're done. They're done. They're done. They're done. And next year, you know what's going to happen? They're going to be a top 10 team next year. And that is BS.
All right, here's my question, though. In all seriousness, this is my only question for you. If somebody came up to you and said, Mr. Siciliano, Mr. Beelan, and Mr. Kirkpatrick, you have $10 million on the table right here. Right here. You could take Clemson. I'm sorry. We're gonna just go Georgia again. We're not even gonna go Alabama. We're gonna start with Georgia or Alabama, both of them. and we're going to say, Mr. Kirkpatrick, I'm going to start with you. You're going to either take Cincinnati, Oklahoma, or Clemson. And one of those three teams, if one of those three teams if your team beats Alabama or Georgia, you get the $10 million. I know I'm telling them quickly, give me Clemson. The other two have zero shot. I saw Clemson versus Georgia. Who would you take?
Take Cincinnati. I would take Oklahoma because of their offense. That's the only way maybe.
So you're gonna take a team that lost to one of those teams that has two other losses, should have been 3 losses, over 2 teams that are 5-0.
Yep, because I saw them, and I need a defensive team.
Someone call the Board of Education and drug test this man.
I saw, because Beelan, I saw them do it already. I saw them do it. You know what's going to happen with Oklahoma. It's going to be a woodshed, and Bama's going to score 60. Bama's not, I can tell you this.
How about this, real quick, the panel. Iowa versus Clemson, who's winning that game?
Iowa.
Kurt, do not say Clemson.
But I didn't give you Iowa. I gave you Cincinnati and Oklahoma.
I'm just saying.
Iowa.
Okay.
Let me get into
let me get sis, Kenny, real quick. Let me get sis. $10 million on the table, sis. Somebody says you got to pick one of these 3 teams. Cincinnati, Oklahoma, and Clemson. Which one's beating Georgia?
If I had $10 million on the table, I'd be in Florida on a boat with girls running around in bikinis. That's what
No, but seriously, who would you take out of those 3 teams?
What's the 3 teams again?
Cincinnati, Oklahoma, or Clemson. You have to take one of those 3, and they have to beat Georgia. Who's going to give you the best chance?
Again, after the way Clemson played them, how could you not say Clemson?
Exactly. You've seen it.
I'm taking Sissy because that kid Ritter is going to be a stud.
Yeah, he's good. I agree with that.
I got a couple more, Kurt.
Oh, and by the way, that $10 million, I'll be feeding grapes to Siciliano over there.
Attaboy. You'd be my towel boy on the boat.
Kurt, let's do this one. This is a team that's ranked number 9. Are we slaying Michigan, or are they going to stay at number 9 or better?
I'm going to keep them there. I'm keeping them there.
Sis.
I agree with Kurt. I think they're for real, man. I think they're going to beat Ohio State.
Yep, they run the ball and play defense, baby.
They play defense and run the ball, man. That's my kind of football, man.
Yep.
Beelan?
I agree they'll beat Ohio State, but they're going to lose to Michigan State and Penn State.
All right. That's fair enough.
Let's go BYU, number 10, sis. Slaying or staying?
Again, to me, they should be like number 35. I don't think they're good at all, but that's just me.
I'm slaying them. They're
slay them out. Yeah, get rid of them. Slay them out.
You know how I feel about the independents. Beelan.
Yep.
Yeah, they're the ones I would slay out.
Kurt.
Yeah, I am. I'm doing the same thing. I'm slaying them out. There's no way they're top 10. Come on.
Let's throw a little props out to Mr. Carson Shear. Michigan State, number 11. Kurt. Slaying or staying? They got Nebraska this week.
No, they don't got Nebraska.
No, not Nebraska. That's
Rutgers.
Michigan's got Nebraska.
Rutgers.
They got Rutgers.
Michigan State's got Breslin's Rutgers, who's struggling a little bit.
I'm going to go against Carson. I don't think they're a top 10 team in the country. They're a good story, but not top 10.
I'm going to let them stay this week against Rutgers. We're going to see in the upcoming weeks. So I'm going to have them staying right now, but I got the sword ready to slay. But I'm going to keep them right now. Sis.
You can see why me and Kurt coach together. I'm going to go word for word with them. I think Michigan is a good team, and I think, they'll probably beat Rutgers because Rutgers got destroyed last week, and they might not be able to recover from that in a week's time. But anyway, they're a good team. They're, no disrespect to Carson. They're not a top 10 team, though. They're not.
Coach Breslin saying,
play with the
"RU,
big-
let's go." They will struggle against Michigan State.
Yeah, coaches.
And
coaches
feeling,
are
are we
good.
keeping them or are we slaying them?
I mean, nah. I mean, I'm going to say that for real. But the real test is going to be the last game of the season against Penn State
Yep.
All right, I want to do two more real quick.
at Penn State.
I'm not doing
Kurt, what's the score of the game, Kurt?
1-1, but first and second, no outs for the Cardinals.
What
I'm
inning
going
is
to
it?
skip over Ohio
Fifth.
State because we got Michigan.
All right,
I'm going to
Kurt.
skip over Ohio State. I'm going to go to Oklahoma State, ranked number 12. A little sneaky team in their Big 12, Kurt.
Hell
You
no.
keeping them or are they
I
slaying
never
them?
trust that team. No way.
No.
No.
I don't trust them either. I think they'll lose to like a TCU or somebody
Yep.
when they're West Virginia. They'll lose to somebody along the way. Kansas State. How about you, Beelan?
I mean, I don't think they haven't played Oklahoma yet. So I think their real test is going to be Oklahoma whenever they play them.
And my last one on this list is for my friend who lives upstairs. He goes to the school. By default, Coastal Carolina, they're ranked 15. Could they stay in the top? Could they get up to top 10 by default with some of these top teams losing throughout the year? Slay or stay, Kurt?
I mean, it's hard. Like, again, they're not a top 10 team in the country, but with the polls, you're going to have bowls and stuff like that. So teams are going to lose and they're going to win. So they're going to, I mean, they may be top 10, but if you're asking me, are they a top 10 team? I'm going to say no. But I think they're going to stay up in the poll because people are going to lose. So they are going to move down.
I think they're going to stay they're going to get into the top 10 and they're going to face a team like a Notre Dame or somebody in a bowl, in a good bowl game come New Year's or close to New Year's. So I think this is going to be a good story brewing. I think Coastal is going to get a nice little bowl game this year, hopefully, and play one of the big boys. Feeling.
I think they might be right on the outskirts of it. I think just the other teams, I think they just have a little bit more juice in them for, with their name recognition.
And Mr. Siciliano.
Beelan used the key word. The other teams have a little bit more juice, but I'll agree with you. And what Kurt said, as the other teams lose, this team will move up, maybe get to number 10, and they'll get a nice little bowl game, and then you'll see what they're
Nice.
all about.
See,
Nice little story. Maybe it could be a Boise State, Oklahoma type story in the
see
bowl.
the thing about Coastal Carolina is that they're beating teams, but they're beating teams. 50. They scored 50 points 4 out of the 5 games this year.
Good point.
Crazy, and the most points they let up was 22 points.
Kurt, there's a wide receiver on that team. Coach Breslin told me
From Ramapo, yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Kid's a
quarterback's a very young quarterback,
I've
super
seen-
quarterback.
I've seen the kid play. He's tough, man.
Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
I think our last thing, Kurt, is to do our top 4 and our first 2 out. I'll go with mine, and then I'll go Beelan, Sis, Kurt. That's how I got it on my screen. I got Bama, Georgia, Iowa 3, and I'm going to stay in the Big 10. I'm moving Michigan up to 4 with their win in Wisconsin. Cincy 5, Penn State 6, but Penn State Iowa winner will be in the top 4 next week. Beelan.
I mean, I like how the rankings are now. I think the rankings are going to be the same as next week, except I just Georgia over Bama.
Kurt, Clemson.
I love
We're-
Billy getting under Siss's State. I'm going to go Bama, Georgia. I'm still going to go Penn State 3 over Iowa because Penn State has the more impressive. I mean, they both have impressive wins. They beat Auburn. Iowa beat Iowa State. But again, that's like Beelan said. Whoever wins that stays at 3 this week. I will put Cincinnati at 5 for this week. Oklahoma 6, Michigan 7. But here's the problem. Cincinnati does nothing the rest of the year. So if Oklahoma runs the table, they jump Cincinnati. If Michigan runs the table, they jump Cincinnati. That's Cincinnati's problem. They got to get lucky because Penn State, Iowa, the Big Ten champion, whoever's in that Big Ten is going to be over them. Now you got to worry about Oklahoma is Oklahoma going to be the team that gets up there? That's, so.
Let's get sisters, and then I got one quick hitter question.
Bama, Georgia, Penn State, Michigan. And what else do you want?
The first two out, 5 and 6.
Oklahoma and Cincinnati.
My question is, the team that's ranked number 7, could they leapfrog Cincinnati, and that's Ohio State, if they win out?
Yes.
Are they Big Ten champs?
Yeah, they're going to win out.
They have to win out. He just said it.
Yeah, they will.
I agree. Unfortunately, agree. Because I wish Cincinnati would get there, but I unfortunately agree. What about you? You don't think so?
No.
I just think they leapfrogged so high with that win against Rutgers. They're number 7 now.
What's going to help them?
Beelin's off from me and Kurt on the show, Kenny. Understand that.
But Kenny, here's what you got to understand, right? And this is where I'm going to look at this real quick. See, this is Cincinnati's problem. See, I totally agree with you, and I think, hey, Ohio State lost at home, right?
Well, here's my problem, real quick, Kurt. I know I'll let you go real quick. Ohio State's ranked 7 because they beat Rutgers 52-6. You got Michigan sitting there at 9, who's undefeated.
Right.
You got Michigan State, who's sitting there undefeated at 11. Okay, Michigan State, okay, but they're undefeated. Michigan is beating top teams as well this year.
Right. Well,
9.
Well, here's
Ohio
what I'm
State's
saying.
ranked 7 with 1 loss.
Again,
Oregon.
That's why
Oregon.
these don't. But that's why these stats don't mean anything now, because everything can change. Here's Cincinnati's problem. Okay, Ohio State has to go to Indiana, right? Cincinnati's putting their hat that they won at Indiana. Well, they got to go to Indiana. Then they play Penn State. Then they play Michigan State. Then they play Michigan. Then they play a Big Ten champion. You're not putting that team over Cincinnati?
I'm putting that team over Cincinnati, yes. But here's my problem. Why is Michigan ranked lower than Ohio State right now?
But whether it's Ohio State's not going to be above Michigan if they don't beat Michigan. Michigan's going to jump them. So
they have to be outright.
Huh?
Ohio State has to win outright.
Right, they have to win outright. If they win outright, they're going to go. And they should go. Look at that schedule. Cincinnati's got cupcakes the rest of the way. That's the problem.
Yeah, but again, you can't knock that for the division that they're in. They over the years, 2018, 2019, 2020, Cincinnati's beaten some teams.
They played
Notre Dame that no one came close to doing this.
They played Temple.
Spanking them at home. At their
right, but here's the thing, Kenny.
They spanked them in Notre Dame. It felt like it was a Cincinnati home game, not a Notre Dame home game.
Right, but here's the thing. If Notre Dame on Saturday goes to VTech and loses, they lose all credibility. That's the thing. Notre Dame has to win out for Cincinnati to keep climbing.
Kurt, and I don't know if you remember this. Remember who played in the Peach Bowl last year?
Georgia, Cincinnati?
Yeah, and remember that game? What did it come down to?
I remember it.
Okay, so Cincinnati playing with one of the big boys and almost beat them at Georgia.
But I never looked at that.
Kurt's thing, though. Kurt's thing is Georgia didn't care about that game.
Well, here, I'll tell you funny. Here, okay, so let me ask you this. 2017, Auburn beats number 1 Georgia at home. 2 weeks later, Auburn beats number 1 Alabama at home. They're a pretty damn good team, right? Then they lose in the SEC championship. If they beat Georgia again, they go to the college football playoff. They lose that game. Now they're going to tell you, you're going to play UCF in a whatever bowl. Do they care? Seriously. Do they care? Yeah. Look at Alabama the year they got knocked off and they played Urban Meyer's Utah team. Utah couldn't beat them twice out of 1,000 times, but that game, players didn't play.
So Kurt, you're telling me if last year that Peach Bowl game was Bama and Nick Saban, you're telling me Nick Saban's not going to care about that?
Well, you've seen, if you look at some of those bowl games, look at some of Alabama's record. They lost to Utah in a bowl game.
Yeah,
and they
but to
lost
say that
somebody else.
there's a lot of money and stuff stake in those games.
You got to remember. You got to
you just
remember
go,
this though too. You
call it
got
a
to
day.
remember this, and Sis is my witness for this. If I'm Alabama, say Alabama this year doesn't play in the playoff, right? Just say for some reason they're not in it. Those defensive linemen, see ya. I'm getting ready for the draft.
Oh.
The corners, see ya.
Here.
I'm getting ready for the draft.
Wait,
All
wait.
of Cincinnati's guys are playing. That's their Super Bowl.
Let
Big
me ask
difference.
this. Here's a good thing. I'm just using this, and Sis could be here. If Georgia and Bama play each other in championship game, okay, in the SEC, Georgia beats them, and Ohio State wins outright. Does Ohio State jump them?
I'll answer it. Georgia and Alabama are in the playoff already. They're in.
I'm just saying. But say they play each other.
No.
In the champ, like, does Ohio State jump Bama?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
If they win all those 3 games against Michigan, Ohio State, and Michigan State,
Well, they might jump them in the ranking, but they're both going to go to the playoffs. They're both going to go. They might be like 2 versus 3, but what does that really matter?
I think that they're going to set it up where obviously Bama, Georgia, if they do both go to the championship, which we all think they are, the loser of that game will be not, they're going to set it up where it's Bama versus Georgia in the championship.
Right.
No
1
doubt.
and 4.
It could be 1 and 2 or 2 and 3.
Sorry, right. 2 and 3,
Right.
exactly.
And like Kurt said, those numbers don't make a difference.
It
So they
doesn't make a
may
difference.
Alabama-
Ohio State to number 3 and Georgia will be 4. And the winner of that game plays Bama or the number 2 ranked team. And
They want Bama and Georgia in the national championship game. I'll tell you that.
Right.
That's what they want. So
The only way
they're
would
going to
be
and they're going to get one of these big schools in the Big Ten. And they got somebody on the outside looking in. They still got Oregon ranked 8.
no. See,
How are they
Oregon.
ranked higher than Michigan?
But now here's the thing: this is where if Ohio State runs Beelan, what do you? I'm interested to see this. Ohio State runs the rest of the table, and they're Big Ten champs. Oregon runs the rest of their table, and they're Pac-12 champs. In my opinion, I'm looking at one thing: Oregon beat you at home. Oregon goes before Ohio State.
no doubt.
You head up. How does head up not matter? I seen you play.
No doubt.
But Ohio State's ranked higher than Oregon. That's the point I'm making. Ohio State is ranked 7. Oregon's ranked 8.
But it's not going to matter. Like they're going to. I don't know. I don't think the rankings.
It will matter when it comes to who's ranked 5 and who's ranked 4.
Like
at the end of the
Beelan
year.
keeps busting.
If Ohio State's ranked 4, they're not going to leapfrog Oregon to 4.
Beelan keeps breaking Sis's chops about Bama being 1 in Georgia. Does it really matter who's 1, Georgia or Alabama? They're going to play. Then we're going to see who's number 1. Penn State, Iowa. Does it really matter?
Kurt, because Auburn's beaten one of them. So
Auburn
if
is
Auburn
beating
beats
one of them.
Alabama or Georgia,
Yeah.
like you predicted,
Yep.
I'm throwing you on the spot right now. Alabama beats Georgia or Alabama, like you predicted, Mr. Valenti. Then Alabama and Georgia play each other. Let's say Auburn beats Georgia. Respectfully speaking, Alabama beats Georgia. You're going to throw Georgia in there with 2 losses?
No.
Georgia's
So Alabama and
going to
Georgia
shut
aren't
out
going to play,
Auburn.
according to you, unless Auburn beats Georgia and Georgia beats Alabama.
What did
Georgia's going to shut out Auburn.
You know
At
what,
home.
Kenny? I'm going to say. Give me the scenario again.
I'll put you on the spot right now. You said Auburn's going to be either Alabama or Georgia. Pick one right now.
All right. I'm going to go with what you just said. You said they're going to beat Georgia, and then
Let's have them beating Georgia, and let's have Alabama beating Georgia in the SEC championship. That's 2 losses for Georgia. Are they getting in the playoff with 2 losses?
They should. They should, because they're probably a top. Yeah, they're one of the best 4 teams in the country. Yeah.
Because that's what you want to see.
Over
That's what you want to see.
Big Ten champ, let's say Ohio State runs the table.
Let me ask Sis. Hold on. Let me ask Sis. Sis, if Georgia today played Cincinnati, give me a score.
24-21.
42-27.
So at least 2 touchdown difference, right?
Oh, easy.
I'm saying you're generous. I'm saying 17-21 points. Kenny, what about you?
You're nuts. You didn't watch the game last year.
There's no way Cincinnati.
If Hudson doesn't go out, if that tackle doesn't get hurt, Cincinnati has a really good chance of winning that game. Our New York Giant rookie Aziz Ujari ate up that backup lineman and had game of his life in that bowl game. And if Hudson, the tackle, doesn't get hurt, Cincinnati may win that game.
You know what? It's gonna
all the Cincinnati guys minus Hudson.
By the way, 5 games, Georgia's only gave up 17 points in 5 games. Alabama gave up 21 in 1 game.
Yeah, at Florida, a little different animal.
Right, a little
different animal.
Right, little different. Yeah.
Just saying.
Cincinnati's playing Temple this week. Me, you, Kenny, and Sis we could play for Temple probably this week.
All right. Well, Alabama played Mercer a couple weeks ago, and Georgia played, Vanderbilt in one.
Kurt, I hope you watch that.
On your schedule.
Hold on. I hope you watch that Georgia game, okay, on Saturday, because that's going to be a shutout for like 49-0.
Let's see it. I'm ready. But let me tell you this. Here's my point about Georgia, okay? I'm sorry, about Alabama. Alabama this week is a 17-point favorite, right? 17-point favorite at Texas A&M. Cincinnati doesn't have a tougher game on their schedule the whole year as of going into Texas A&M. You could tell me Notre Dame anyway. Notre Dame should have lost to Florida State. They should have lost to Toledo. Notre Dame is very overhyped. It's a nice win, but they already went into the swamp. Think about this. Alabama had to go into the swamp.
Yeah, but
then now Alabama has to go to A&M. Alabama has to go to Auburn, and they got to play Georgia just to get in.
Hold on. Are you talking about the same A&M team that lost to Mississippi State? That's 2-3.
That almost lost
2-3.
Colorado.
I'll say this statement again, and it's not, Alabama's no good. Alabama's not going to go in there this week and win 41-3. It's not going to happen. Texas A&M has a fantastic run defense. That front four is crazy. This game, Alabama's probably not even going to cut. It's going to be not like Florida, bad, big environment. Here comes Texas A&M, Bama's in the house. Win by 7, win by 10. It's not that Alabama's not good. You know how hard it is to go win in Texas A&M? You know how hard it is? I mean, they don't have their quarterback, but Alabama's not going to put up 50 on A&M this week. That's not happening at home in A&M. It's not happening. It's not. If that game was in Alabama, yeah. Listen, that game, I told Systems right out, that game last week was a woodshed. He's throwing his headset, watch the popcorn. He's stupid. If that game was home, it would be competitive. At Alabama, they never had a shot. Not winning, not spread, running, never had a shot. The defense, they shut him out in the first half. This guy, he's the Heisman Trophy winner, top 4 pick. Are you out of your mind? Alabama went, poop, poop, poop. Game's over. Shut him down. Game's over. Halftime, that game was over. Put the other game on, that game's over. Why? Because Alabama's defense completely shut it down. They shut that garbage, trickery, gimmick. They shut it down. It's
all coaching, my friend.
That's it.
All coaching.
That's it. Alabama, what did they do? Turn around and say, hey, Ole Miss, here we come. Don Bosco versus Passaic style. Hey, we're going to run power right there. All right? Move up in the box. Move up. Come on. Put 10 there. Hand it. Gain of 8. Ole Miss had no answer. What?
No
what did
answer.
they do? They ran the ball right down the
going to have
throat.
that answer.
Right? They ran the ball right down the throat. So why would I want to see Ole Miss? Same thing with Oklahoma. What would Alabama do? Hey.
Same reason why
Come
you
on,
want to
bring
see
them up.
Clemson go in the top playoff.
Listen to me. They are not telling Clemson, hey, we're running right there. They're not telling Clemson that. I can tell you that right now. You saw it versus Georgia. They shut Georgia out.
Listen, after Georgia demolishes Auburn this weekend, you're legitimately not going to have anything to talk about besides the Knicks upcoming.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Auburn's going to be done. Clemson is done. The Yankees are done. Everything's done. The Broncos are going to lose 4 straight. You're only going to talk about the Knicks.
I'm ready for the Knicks, though, Beelan. I'm ready. All right, let's get to final thoughts, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
I don't know if I could top that. All I'm going to tell you is Georgia shut out Vanderbilt. So you're talking about schedules, right? You talk about schedules with Cincinnati. They don't play anybody. But Georgia's playing everybody pretty much minus Clemson. I'm not even saying Arkansas. Arkansas, they're a physical team, but they were a little over their head. They lost 37-0. Georgia, 62-0 Vanderbilt. South Carolina, down. They're not a top team in the SEC. And UAB, 56-7. So don't give me the Cincinnati's not playing anybody, that they don't deserve to be there, because the other teams aren't playing anybody neither.
All right, so hold on.
All joking aside, the Big Ten minus Alabama and Georgia, I'm taking teams in the Big Ten over the SEC.
Okay, well, so let me ask you this. So, sis, I want you to laugh at this one, okay? So Cincinnati, Kenny just said. So you're gonna tell me this is
no. I'm telling you, Big Ten. Big Ten.
Okay, wait. Is A or B more impressive? So Cincinnati beat Miami, Ohio. Then they beat Murray State with Ja Morant. Then they're holding their hat that they won at Indiana. Indiana stinks. They won in Indiana. Then they beat Notre Dame. Okay, somewhat win. The rest of the year, Temple, UCF without their quarterback.
Notre Dame at home.
Navy, Tulane, Tulsa, South Florida. Listen to these records. 2-2, 1-3, 1-4, 1-4, 1-4. SMU, East Carolina. Now, real quick, you're talking about Georgia, right? Georgia. I'm not even going to look at the rest of their schedule. But if they beat Clemson, Florida, and Auburn, that's not better than what that schedule? Tulsa? Come on. I'm sorry.
He just wants to hear what he wants to hear. I was bringing up the Big Ten, not the SEC, not Cincinnati. Big Ten as a whole, their top teams are better than the middle teams minus Alabama and Georgia. Ohio State, I'll take over Florida. I'll take over Auburn. I'll take Michigan over those teams right now. I'll take Iowa over those teams, and I'll take Penn State over those teams.
Okay.
That's the point I was making, was that besides Alabama and Georgia playing each other, there's not much on the schedule in the SEC.
All right, here's my final thoughts.
Kentucky's undefeated. What does that tell you about the SEC?
Wait. My final thought is,
undefeated.
I'll start first. My final thought is this. If Auburn beats Georgia this week, Mr. Kirkpatrick, where is Auburn ranked?
No way.
Where are they right now?
15.
Ranked 15?
I think they're 15 or 18, something like that.
I'll move them ahead of Oregon, number 8.
Beelan, if they win, just say if, where do they go?
14.
Sis, we beat Georgia. We go from 18 to what?
Top 10.
That's my final thought. Beelan, what's your final thought?
My final thought is this, going back to your Clemson guys, okay? Georgia Tech, 1-4 in the year. South Carolina, 0-4 in the year. They should have lost to Boston College, right? So if they really would have lost to Boston College, their 2 wins came from teams that were 1-9 this year, okay? They should have lost against Boston College. The teams that they lost against them are 14-1. Okay. I'm not impressed by Clemson. Never was. Never. And Clemson is in the same division as Cincinnati is. They don't play nobody besides Georgia. That's it. Don't compare divisions when they do the same exact thing as Cincinnati does, except they just have Georgia as a higher level and Cincinnati's playing Notre Dame. That's it. No difference. And you rag on one team, and you don't rag on the other team. I'm good.
All right, Mr. Siciliano.
Oh, and Syracuse taking down Clemson next week. Let's go.
All right, okay. Go ahead, sis.
Very, very interesting show tonight. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, it'll be Georgia against Alabama in the championship game for the national championship.
And Georgia wins.
That's my closing thoughts.
And Kenny, take it away.
My closing thoughts is I got to think of some kind of wager for next week. I'm going to go different than everybody else, and I'm changing my mind. It's not going to be Georgia, Alabama. One of those teams ain't going to be there.
You know what?
Yeah, okay.
Sis,
Big Ten is sneaking up to the SEC. This Big Ten sneaking up.
Yeah,
I got it. Sis, I got it.
Halloween's coming. You're right. Halloween's coming.
Sis, I got it before we go, sis. And this is the ultimate bet. I'm gonna throw out a challenge to Beelan and Kenny right now. And they don't accept it until next week on air. They either say yes or they say no. We're gonna put the ultimate bet. Here's what's at stake. We lose, we gotta go cut Beelan's grass.
No, I got it.
I want Sharky's wings.
I'm going to tell you what you and Sis have to do.
No. Listen. Well, here's the.
You'll come up with it.
Okay.
I come up with
it.
Okay.
Here's what we're gonna do. Me and Sis are gonna do homework this week. You and Beelan do homework. You guys could pick 3 things total. Me and Sis are gonna pick 3 things total. Here's the bet for the national championship. Me and Sis have Georgia and Alabama. You have everybody else. Everybody. You could take them all. Take them all. Me and Sis got pull up Georgia or Alabama. If they
both
win,
of them have to be in the championship together.
No. The champion.
I'll take it because you know what? We're putting the Rocky Mountain Oysters back on the line.
Put them on. Go ahead, Beelan. You got everybody else. You got Cincinnati. You got Iowa. You got Penn State. You got Rutgers. You got Tulsa. You got you know what? Give us Clemson too. We'll take Clemson. You got Boston College.
Nope.
You got all
I want
those
everybody
teams.
else. I want everybody else.
Next week.
What's the wing bet with Beelan?
No. There's no wing bet. Me and you, Sis, have to come up with 3 things, and next week they're gonna have 3 things, and officially Kenny and Beelan are gonna say we accept or we decline.
Yeah, but Beelan said he wants Sharky wings.
I want you cutting my grass. You don't touch my grass.
Okay, so
number 1 is
3 things.
Kurt, what's the wing bet then?
Mr. Beelan and I will be at Kurt's house when Sis and Kurt officially eat Rocky Mountain Oysters on the show.
Listen,
and I'll think of 2 and 3 during the week.
Before I leave, I just know Beelan looking at his face. He doesn't want to say yes to that bet. He doesn't want it. He knows. Beelan knows.
I'm so high on Georgia this year. How can I go against them?
John, you know what else I'm going to do?
Ahead,
I'll take it. I'll take the bet. John don't have to be in the bet. John can witness when you guys do.
This is what's going to happen. Honestly, this is what I want. Saturday, I'm going to put a group text message all together. You're going to watch Kurt not reply at all when Georgia's beating Auburn by 49 points.
Oh, yeah, he shuts his phone off.
Yeah, he shuts his phone off.
And real quick, this is my last breaking news of the night. I sent Sis videos today. I'm going to send Kenny and Beelan videos. By next week, we all have to do these 2 TikTok videos, and they're going to get posted. So I'm going to send it to you in a little bit. I expect it back by Sunday morning. On that note, Kenny, Zoom's going to expire because we went to 10:30.
Well, my 3 things are Kurt and Sis going to have to do Rocky Mountain Oysters.
No, don't tell me now. Next week.
Oh, I got it.
We don't want to know.
I'm on. Let's do it. I'm in that bet.
Look,
John,
Beelan's
you don't have to
sick.
take it.
Beelan's sick because he wants to come with me and Sis. I know Beelan.
Georgia Bulldogs, baby. Woo, woo.
All right, we're heading out.
Let's go.